Welcome, Lion Nation, to tonight's broadcast of the Homecoming 2024 here at AC Bible Stadium. The Lions play host to the Georgetown Eagles in tonight's matchup. If you didn't get an opportunity to watch this week's podcast that we held at Guaco Taco on Tuesday night, I recommend you go back and look at that. We got to talk to a couple of players, including Salorm Corshi, and we talked to Coach Price as well as another coach. And, you know, we're just excited about tonight's game. Joining us on the broadcast, of course, is Frank Rodriguez, and we have Juan Alanis on production, and his son Ben here is going to read a little bit of preliminary information for you to know as tonight's the opener of district play. Ben, what do you have for us?
Yeah, for the pre-district play, so far Georgetown is in number 1 in the standings with 3-0. Followed by that, Georgetown Eastview, Killian Chaparral, Glenn, and Lake Belton are all tied with a 2-1 record. After that, we got Rouse, Leander, and Cedar Park all with a 1-2 record.
Boy, that's a little bit of a shocker, Frank, when you hear that and you see the LISD schools at the bottom of the district. And it's, you know, not official standings for district, all pre-district games. But ultimately, what does that tell you about this district?
There's a lot of talent in this district. But today goes to show, we 1-0 today, we 1-0 in district. There's a bunch of talented teams out there, but today it starts.
Well, and you have the pre-district, and we talked about it with Coach at Guaco Taco. The Lions should probably be 2-1. Instead, they're 1-2. That opener against Pflugerville was a tough matchup. You know, had we played to our potential, who knows? So we could be 3-0, but the Lions have had some trouble with Georgetown over the last 4 or 5 years. It's a really good program. It's a nice town. People like to move there. But we'll see what the Lions have for them tonight.
See if we can stop that run. That's a big running back up on the plate tonight.
Yeah, we'll get after him. They got a young quarterback. Maybe we can get after him and cause some turnovers. The defense has been improving each week, and if they can play to their level of potential, then the Lions have a real opportunity to come out of here with a win and an early district lead.
We'll see. We have Corshire back today.
Okay, and at halftime, we're going to interview a former Leander coach. Some of you that are lifetime Lions might remember Coach L.D. Williams. He spent some time coaching Frank, so we'll get to hear some stories about Frank's glory days, and we'll do that right as halftime is closing. The first half, we'll bring him in, and we'll get his opinion on some things, and we'll talk to him for a few minutes while the Georgetown band plays, because I know there's people that like to watch the bands, but the Leander one's the one that matters. And so we'll take a break, and we'll be right back. So thank you for watching Lion Nation here on SHN Sports.
Go Lions. Need water or anything, Chuck, before we get started? Water?
Yeah, bring me a water.
Locked in over there.
And so you'll just kind of take a break and keep stats for now, which is not really a break. It's actually the hardest job. And also, even though that mic's on, don't yell it, but if you hear us not know who made a tackle, you do just kind of whisper it too.
Sometimes, like I said, it's hard to see the numbers and who they are.
Plus, they're like in my role as play-by-play, I try to describe what's happening.
Yeah.
And Frank adds color commentary, not melon. But he does that as a former player and an ex-line. So it'll be cool. Welcome back to AC Bible Stadium. The Lions just entering the playing field wearing their blue jerseys with white stripes, white numbers, and they have their white pants on. Georgetown going with a little bit of a different look this year. They almost look like McNeil. They have navy or black pants. It's hard to tell from here, and plus my vision's not what it once was. But they have white helmets. It looks like instead of the traditional G, they have some type of eagle emblem on the side of the helmet, and they wear white jersey. It looks like it's going to be black and white. It could be navy, but I'm going to go with black because that primary blue is more like Leander's blue in their color scheme.
Yeah, that's black as can be right there.
Yeah. So we'll go with black. And as we mentioned, this is the first game in district play this season. Lions drawing a tough opponent out of the blocks, but, you almost want to get them out of the way, especially if you can sneak a win early in the season. This is the kind of team that builds momentum. But, again, they started out with a bang at 3-0. The Lions, again, 1-2. And as we mentioned, probably could be 2-1, but that's not how football works.
Right.
You win or you lose.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to get underway. This is the Eagles enter the field. There is a little bit of an issue. There is some new equipment here at AC Bible and with the scoreboard, and as a result, the clock's not working and the scoreboard portion is not working either, but they have projected the total score and the game clock. The play clocks are working on the field, so we'll be able to monitor it, but down in distance it's going to be up to Frank and I to try to guess what the referees are doing. Sometimes it's not very easy from up here, so if we're off a yard or two, bear with us.
Yeah, forgive us.
We are not professionals. We pretend to be, but we are not. We try our hardest, and we're looking for assistance going forward beyond football season. There's a potential that basketball, we've done those over the past several years, the boys' basketball games, as well as baseball. So if you're interested in those sports, Frank's going to join me for baseball, but I could use some camera people for basketball. If you're interested, just reach out to the Lion Nation Twitter handle. It's @LionCast. @LionCast, and it looks like the anthem is on. We'll turn it up. We don't have the greatest mic, but of course, the crowd mic, as I mentioned, there are some equipment issues. They're working on the facilities here at AC Bible, and I spoke to the stadium manager, and he indicated to me that the crowd mic doesn't work. So we've got it set up within the booth on the internal speaker, so you will hear the PA and possibly the crowd when they roar. But the fans are still filling in here, or filing in, I should say, to the stadium. It is homecoming, so we expect a big crowd. Ex-students, lots of teachers.
Class 03 is going to be in the house today. I heard that through the grapevine.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's a
they
reunion.
Got a reunion going on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, welcome to the class of 2003. If you're listening in, I was 23 years old, so they're not that much. No, wait, I was 33 years old.
All right, I forgot to carry the zero. Huh?
Yeah, I forgot that other decade.
Right.
Lots of crazy things happened in that decade, so I'll just leave it at that.
LIVIN, right.
Yeah. So we will have the captains coming out here momentarily for the pregame toss. It looks like it's going to be number 1, Zane Wooldridge, along with number 5, Calvin Kessler, number 3, Logan Mitchell, one of our guests, along with Salorm Corsi on Tuesday. And then the 4th player is Malachi Filan for Georgetown. Do I have Georgetown's roster? I forgot to print it out. Do you happen to have Georgetown's roster?
I don't have it.
Frank, will you run down and ask, or Ben, will you run down to the other broadcast and ask if they have an extra roster for Georgetown? It's the one after this one, where that camera is. You know, I apologize for that. Of all of the things you try to remember, that's an easy one, and I just failed to do that. Let's see if there's one online here, that we might be able
We
to
have a
find.
number 2, Sedgwick, out there, one of those big receivers we were talking about. He's out there as a captain, along with number 25, A. Wilson, which is a defensive player. He's a senior this year.
It does look like we may have an electronic roster. Does have some players that are unnumbered, but we'll do our best, and we'll see. Hopefully Ben can sweet talk the other broadcast, the Georgetown broadcast, also an SHN broadcast, so hopefully they'll have an extra one, and he doesn't interrupt their broadcast too much in asking for it. But right now the toss looks like it's been completed. Looks like Georgetown has won the toss, and they elect to receive. So we will wonderful, and Ben able to he's super nice, as you saw on the pregame show, so he was able to get us a roster, and so we'll bring you all of the Georgetown players, nicely laminated as well. That makes me kind of feel guilty about my roster, all wrinkled up and being jammed in my Leander roster going in the backpack every week. But the Lions are going to line up and going to kick off, as the kickoff team is right around the 35-yard line, and they're discussing with the special teams coordinator, Coach Adam McClain, about what the plan is here.
I mean, I don't blame them for wanting to receive first. We got 2 healthy quarterbacks.
It looks like I misread what the referee said. It is Georgetown who'll be kicking off. I apologize for interrupting you there, Frank.
No, you're all right.
And it looks like the Lions will receive from the south end of the stadium. It's going to be Zane Wooldridge back deep, along with number 28, Malachi Ramos. What were you saying?
I said it's good that we want to get the ball first. We got both healthy quarterbacks. We got everybody off a bye week. Everybody's fresh. Let's go ahead and get
It's
this
a
thing
good
started.
way to set the tone.
Yeah.
Kicking off for Georgetown is going to be number 34, and it just has one name. He must be like Madonna. It's just Christopher on the roster. So Christopher, I'm going to assume that's his last name. He'll be kicking off. And he'll kick it deep, and it's going to go to Ramos right around the 6-yard line. He'll run up the center, up the right seam, and he's going to get hit pretty hard right around the 25-yard line. Lions will have good field position to start on the tackle, number 24, Caden Hogue, a senior linebacker playing a little special teams. And Georgetown, they're always known to have a pretty good defense, but the Lions' offense has been much improved over what we've seen over probably the last 5 years. And you see it, it's gradual. You want an immediate improvement, but that's not really how it works. You got to build on momentum, and we'll see here. They have some young linemen that got good experience last year, and they've been having a pretty good year on the offensive line. And it looks like it's going to be Montgomery starting the game with Hargrave behind him. I checked that. That was Logan Mitchell is starting the game, and already there's a flag on the field, and it's a false start on Leander. That is unfortunate. You don't want to start behind the chains if you can help it.
It was a runner back. He was a little antsy on that one. He knew he wanted it, and he was going to send the message.
So Hargrave ready to break it into the open, it looks like. So Mitchell will remain the quarterback as he looks to the sideline for the signal from the offensive coordinator, Coach Bailey. And they're going to bring Wooldridge out on an island here. They have a double tight formation and a standard pistol formation. They'll fake the handoff to the running back, and Mitchell's going to roll to the right, and he'll cut up to where he's about a yard, maybe 2 shy of the original line of scrimmage. Give him a gain of 3, and we'll make it 2nd down and 12 for the Lions. Looked like he got a little more than they granted him there. Looks like they're going to mark the line of scrimmage at the 21, which will make it 14 yards needed for a first down instead of 13. Lions in a huddle now. Mitchell looking to the sideline for the play call. He gets that from Coach Bailey. And we're going to have twin receivers on either side of the formation, and in pretty much a standard spread formation. The running back to the side, Kamarian Gordon. They're going to fake to Gordon. Mitchell rolls to his right as a receiver on the sideline is complete. I didn't see the number, but
Number 28.
28, and that's
Ramos.
Malachi Ramos. He returned a kick earlier, and so they get it into a third and manageable here. The Lions really only need about 4 yards to pick up a first down if they can keep this drive going. You want to keep that running back on the sideline as much as possible. You don't want him to get warmed up, in other words. So Mitchell with Gordon beside him, 2 receivers on either side of the formation. They fake to Gordon. They hit the slant, and it's wide open. That's Derek Pites, and he'll carry it up over midfield into Eagle territory at about the 48. And looks like number 9 for Georgetown is going to be in on the stop along with a couple of his secondary mates. That's Seth Warren.
Pites, Mr. Football, they come out in NASCAR too.
He's being recruited by Southwestern. I do their sideline reporting. I would like to have a Lion on that team. Mitchell keeps on the zone read, and he's able to make some defenders miss. He's going to carry inside the 35
13-yard gain right there
to the 34, and dragging him down is going to be number 6 Chance Kelly, a senior linebacker for the Eagles. But the Lions, they started out a little bit behind the chains, Frank, but they're going now.
Yeah, I like the mix. It's getting everything open. You got the short passes, run the ball, keep the ball.
And it's not a torrid pace, but they're moving pretty quickly, especially once they break the huddle. They get up on the line, and they're not spending a lot of time at the line of scrimmage. Spread formation, they bring Wooldridge in motion. Mitchell looking to pass on the left sideline. He's able to complete it at the 25. That's to number 16. He's able to spin out and carry for a few more yards. Dominic Jaramillo up to the 17-yard line of the Eagles. Another first down for Leander as they really have it going here on the opening drive.
Number 3 looks poised. He's just there. He sees the read. He's letting the ball out in decent time. These guys are moving the chains.
He's like a point guard looking like out there. So
right.
Gordon just to his left. Mitchell will hand to Gordon, and a couple of Eagles there waiting for him there in the center. Credit the tackle to number 66, Jack Coven. Or check that. That's the 36. 38, Dylan Tuberville. That's not Tuberville, Tuberville. There's no R in it. I think of the current senator from Alabama who used to coach Auburn, Tommy.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy Tuberville.
Right.
He's in Congress now making money.
I would never guess that.
Yeah.
It's good to know for trivia now. Thank you for that.
Spread formation for Mitchell and the Lions. He takes the snap and fakes to Gordon, has to roll out to his left. Just throws the ball away. Lions down near the area that they are pretty confident in their kicker, Rene Rodriguez. So, you don't want to make a mistake and take a sack and kind of put it out of what would be a reasonably short field goal for Rodriguez. But the Lions still have another down to try to get this first down. They got to get down to the 7-yard line. It's 3rd and 11. Ball now at the 18.
That was good for Mitchell to get rid of that because he did have an option down low, Mr. Magic Man, but just take the loss and get him next down.
Yeah, he ran the other side of the formation. It would have been a tough throw.
There
He
you
hits
go.
him there over the middle for a first down, and
Mr.
what a
Magic
catch
Man.
from Zane Wooldridge to give the Lions a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. Lions waste no time to get up to the line of scrimmage. They'll hand – nope, it's a keeper to Mitchell. And he's in for an early score, and the Lions have the lead early with the zone read.
It was good to see that boy healthy the other day.
They had the Eagles on their heels a little bit, and they took advantage. When they picked up that first down on the excellent catch by Wooldridge, they quickly went to the line of scrimmage and ran that zone read.
Right at you, live action. First series down the field. That's how you do it.
That's how you start a homecoming game, that's for sure. Rodriguez towed a leather and a late signal, but it is good, and the Lions up 7-0 here early with 8:10 remaining here in the first quarter.
That's awesome right there. You can't ask for anything better than that.
You think that's all scripted?
Oh, yeah. It's been scripted for a week and a half already. They've been working on that. Those guys look crisp with their play running. I like the fast tempo.
That's what you call good scouting right there by the Lion coaching staff.
That was strictly business right there.
So I'm trying to find my list of boosters. We'll get those to you here shortly at one of the breaks. It won't be this one, but There was a new sponsor added as well. Let's see here. And that's we'll get them along with the others here shortly.
Number 3 and number 7 to return for Georgetown. Number 7, that's Xavier Warren. Number 3, that's Borden.
So kicking off will be Leander. Will you keep that set, and I'll borrow it from you? I had it all printed out, but they added a couple of new ones, and I think I still have the printout. But we want to make sure we mention those booster sponsors because they're very important. Not just because they do stuff like put new roofs on your house and keep you dry, but they support the program and they keep these kids in new equipment as well as cover meals and things like that occur throughout the season. So the Rodriguez kick will be fielded at the 10-yard line up to the 20, 25, and it'll be wrapped up around the 30. Number 20 on the return, Luke Livingston. Do you see who made the tackle?
Number 20.
Number 20 is Jake Coates for the Lions on the stop. So the Eagles starting with a little bit better field position than the Lions. The Lions started on their 25 and then backed up to their 20 and went 80 yards for a touchdown. Off of the legs of Logan Mitchell. Quarterback number 12 in a pistol formation, Caleb McDougal. I got the big running back. I didn't get his number. I think he's number 8.
Number 28.
28. It's a pass in the flat, complete to the wide receiver, number 3, Maddox Borden, and he's forced out of bounds by the Lions' number 9, Matthew Anderson. Gain of about 6 yards on first down for Georgetown. That running back, number 28, Jet Walker, had some interest from some Division I schools. The Lions will need to contain him.
He's a pretty big boy out there.
For a running back, yeah. 6 foot 208. That's not somebody you want to meet in a hole very often. You want to get to him before he gets ahead of steam.
That's a creative player right there.
Bring a man in motion, and they'll hand it to the running back, and he'll cut up at the 40 and be spun down after picking up a first down at around the 44. So Walker, on his first carry, picks up a first down. I think that was number 9 again on the stop, Matthew Anderson. 11 also there, Derek Pites. So we have a first and 10 from the 44. The box is wrong. They have it set at second.
Oh, there you go.
You got the receivers covered. The quarterback has to roll out, and McDougal able to pick up the first down on the Georgetown side in line territory. Had a defender try to cut his legs out from under him, but he was able to get by him and get out of bounds for the first down at the Lion 43-yard line. We may be in for a shootout here tonight. Caleb McDougal in the backfield for the Eagles with Jet Walker, and that's also a pretty good name for a running back, Jet Walker.
Right.
Let's see if the Lions can contain him and keep him grounded, so to speak. Pistol formation with the running back to the left of McDougal. 3 receivers, top of the formation. They'll send Walker in motion, the pass in the flat on a little bit of a tunnel screen. The receiver able to pick up a couple of blocks, and he's going to take it to the house. That's number 2, David Sedgwick. And that is also one of the big recruits that are
6'3", 180 pounds.
That the colleges are very interested in the Georgetown program. We'll get the point after attempt here, and we'll make sure we acknowledge our Booster Club sponsors shortly after. And so Georgetown putting the weird formation out. They got all the guys to the left. This is usually just to mess with the other team, but occasionally they might throw a screen out there and go for 2, but it looks like they're going to go back to the traditional PAT attempt, and that'll be number 34, Christopher, to attempt. Snap to McDougal, holds up, and it is good, and the score is now tied with 7:01 remaining. So, it took just a little over a minute for Georgetown to drive down the field and answer the Leander initial score. So the Lions will have to shore up some of that on defense. As good as the Lion offense is, you don't want to get in a shootout with Georgetown. You're going to have to get off the field defensively. So the sponsors, the gold sponsors for the Lions are Bear Electric LLC and Mercy Veterinary Hospital. Silver sponsors include Bill Miller's Barbecue and RDZ Roofing. and Raising Cane's. Bronze sponsors are Golden Chick, Toyota of Cedar Park, TSO of Cedar Park, Whitestone Fine Jewelry, Sisk Robb Incorporated, JT Reisdorf at State Farm. The Lion Pride sponsors are A-Plus Septic Cleaning and Repairs, Grissom Insurance Group, Black Rock Coffee, and the Roll Pride sponsors are MLD Services. And as I mentioned, we added a couple of new sponsors, A-Plus Septic, as well as, let's see who the other one is. I should have done a better prep job. It is Bluebonnet HVAC LLC, and we want to thank all of those sponsors for stepping up and supporting Lion football. We'll get them mentioned again in the second half as the Georgetown Eagles here in the first quarter get ready to kick off. And they have they're kind of putting on a little bit of a little trick thing here because Christopher's back. He's the normal kicker. The up back kind of was looking like he might try an onside, but instead they're going to kick it deep, and that is Ramos at the 5. He's going to carry it up to the 15. He's going to get met about the 18-yard line and spin his way forward to about the 19, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Lions. And so, not that far off after the penalty from where the Lions started on their opener.
No, we're going to see if we can keep our composure and execute the same way we did the first series.
It's tough. Leander, one of those programs where some of the guys got to play a little bit of Ironman football and play both ways. But if you remember, Frank, back in the day, I mean, maybe not in your day, but I think it was still the same. There were a lot of guys that played both ways.
Yeah, I play running back and linebacker, kickoff return. I mean,
well, that's why you get in good shape and you drink a lot of water. So pistol formation, Hargrave. That's Gordon again, the running back. They're going to hand to him, and he starts right and cuts back left up over the 20 to the 21, where he's tackled by number 9, Seth Warren. It'll be a gain of about 1.5 yards, maybe 2. Make it 2nd down and 8 for the Lions. And it looks like Malachi Ramos comes out of the game and Wooldridge comes back in. And that's the other thing. If you're going to play guys both ways, you got to give them some breather on the opposite side of the ball as well. If you're an offensive player and you play a defense, you need to get some rest while the offense is out there. That's next man up mentality. Mitchell takes the snap, drops straight back, throws it up the left sideline. And just beyond the reach of the receiver. He was about a half a step. That's Isaac Montgomery, the sophomore.
That was a great ball.
And he's an excellent basketball player as well. Was on the varsity as a freshman, a big contributor to that team. And had a chance there. The pass just a smidge long, and now it's 3rd down and 8. And that's one of those – you got to go for it on 2nd down, but you got to have something prepared for 3rd and 8 if that pass goes long. And, the Lion coaching staff signaling in what that play is, and Mitchell reading it to the
slant to the magic man real quick.
Gordon just to the left of Mitchell, 2 receivers on either side of the formation. Mitchell rolls, and he throws it in the direction of Wooldridge, but a little tall and out of bounds. He felt like the defender, number 9, Seth Warren, was a little bit close for comfort to try to fit that in there, and so the Lions will bring out the punting unit. And we have the first defensive stop of the game, this by the Georgetown Eagles. Back to receive the punt. It looks like it's going to be number 3 for Georgetown, Maddox Borden. Rodriguez handling punting and place-kicking duties for Leander. They recruited him from the soccer team. His brother was a part of this Lion team and program for a couple of years in that same role. Some pressure, but Rene Rodriguez able to get the punt off. It's going to bounce at the 50 and roll into Georgetown territory to about the 39, where it's going to be down by Calvin Kessler for Leander. And Georgetown will start their 2nd series of this first quarter in this ball game from their own 39. So decent field position. The Lions are going to have to figure out how to slow this attack down. You don't want to get behind. Obviously, the Lions received the opening kickoff, which means Georgetown gets the opener in the second half. So McDougal, the quarterback, with Jet Walker behind him. Looking over the formation, it's a tight formation. The receiver's real close to the line of scrimmage. They're going to hand to Walker on the left side. He's got a little bit of a lane up to about the 45 where he's tackled by a host of lines led by number 5, Calvin Kessler. We talked about that with Coach Bridwell and Kessler having a competition at that linebacker spot to see who can lead district in tackles, both of them in the top 5. I think he said Bridwell was leading district.
Yeah, that Bridwell's a headhunter for sure.
So McDougal at quarterback has Walker right next to him. They bring a man in motion. He kind of turned up before the snap. That should be a penalty. It's not Canadian ball. Throw to Jet Walker, kind of a vertical, not a vertical, a lateral route as he ran straight down the 45-yard line towards Leander's sideline to try to catch that pass, but the pass too far for him to reach it. And it's now third down. The line defense has an opportunity to get off the field if they can prevent Georgetown from gaining 4 yards. It is a little bit of no man's land, so I would not be surprised if Georgetown is planning on going for it here on 4th. They have 2 receivers on either side of the formation. McDougal looking over the secondary, brings a man in motion, takes the snap, drops straight back. He's got time. Pass behind the intended receiver, number 16, Braylon Westfall, and they'll bring up a 4th down, and it's decision time for the Georgetown coaching staff, and it looks like they're going to go on ahead and punt it away as both teams open with a pretty strong offensive drive, and the second attempt for both teams not quite so impressive.
Yeah, guys, that was a good game here.
Yeah, it should be a good game, and there's no reason to be afraid of Georgetown 3-0.
No.
Back deep to receive this kick is going to be Zane Wooldridge. The punter is number 16, Braylon Westfall, and there is a timeout called. I didn't see who called the timeout, and there's no way we'll be able to tell because the scoreboard is having issues. But according to the scoreboard, there are 5, did they say, on that? Yeah, it just says timeout on the scoreboard. So there's 5 minutes left here in the first quarter of this tie ball game, 7-7. And going back to the early, pre-district standings that Ben read earlier in the pregame, it's really crazy to see Rouse, who went really deep in the playoffs, and Cedar Park, who's had a pretty impressive program over the last decade and a half, and Leander all at the bottom of those teams, and the Colleen Chaparral, who I thought might be an easy win, or 2-1. So we'll see. They come. Oh no, we go to Colleen to play them, so that'll be an interesting trip. Waiting to punt back deep it is a fake, and it goes to Walker, and he's able to lunge forward and pick up the first down, and that is why the coaching staff. That's why I said, it's a decision time, because it is that kind of limbo area of the field, and so instead of the Lions gaining possession of the football on the punt, the Eagles able to pick up a first down at the 50-yard line with the fake punt snap directly to the running back, Jet Walker. Picked up a couple of good blocks on that left side of the line. 1st and 10, McDougal with Walker just to his right. He's got an H-back to his left. He's going to fake to Walker and then try to throw a slant. Almost intercepted. He tried to run with the football before he caught it, and that's Malachi Filan able to jump that route, and that would have been a huge play for the Lions, and the coaches animated on the sideline.
Everything in his mind happened before it happened. He was ready.
He was taking it to the house, and what you got to do before you do anything is secure that football.
All the way through. That was a good stop, though. Good defense right there.
It's a good play. He was in position. I guarantee you Georgetown probably won't call that play again tonight.
Yeah, no.
Walker just to the right with an H-back in front of him of McDougal on 2nd and 10. They're going to hand to Walker.
There you go.
Right the middle. Somebody able to get his ankles. Ball may be on the ground as the Lions kind of react like it was loose. But Walker looks like he may have been able to get it back. No gain on the play. Number 8 on the tackle.
Number 9 was on there too. Who's that?
Mormon and Matthew Anderson. So it is now 3rd down and 10. So it looks like it was Anderson because Mormon's not out.
Hey, they
there.
look good, though, right there.
Yeah.
You've been talking about the big boy all week. We've been talking about him all week. And then
Well,
right
and
there.
what did we say?
Yeah.
You got to get him before he gets ahead of
it.
steam.
Grab
and
that
that's what
leg
they
and
were able to do.
Stay low. That was awesome right there.
You got an empty set, 5 wide receivers for the Eagles. McDougal back alone. He'll bring a man in motion.
Oh, hold your
And
water.
we had some either an offsides or a motion penalty. It's hard to say. There was definitely contact as the line came across the line of scrimmage. That's unfortunate if it's against Leander. And that is the signal, is that it is a offsides, and that'll make it 3rd and a little more manageable for Georgetown as they move the line of scrimmage to the line 45. You know, don't want to give them any gifts. This Georgetown team will take advantage of your mistakes, and you definitely don't want to make it easy on them. They'll do their work themselves.
D-line got a little antsy right there. They're ready to put in work, but you got to wait. You hold your
Yeah,
water.
especially if you're right there beside the football. How do you not know that it didn't move? So Walker just to the left of McDougal on this 3rd and 5. They're going to hand to
grab
Walker.
him.
He drops
There
it, and
you
somebody
go.
able to drop him for a loss of about a yard, maybe
Number
2.
41.
That's number 41 is Emmanuel Ugo. And so it is now 4th and about 7 yards for Georgetown. It's in that no man's land, so they may go for it here.
And that's what I like about Leander right now. They don't care about how big that running back was. None of them scared right now. Nobody's scared right now.
Well, everybody, you know, my dad used to always tell me, everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time.
That's
There ain't no
it.
reason to fear another man.
That's it.
4th down and 7. They'll bring a man in motion. A little bit of movement at the line of scrimmage. And a guard lunged out and hit Corshi. Corshi kind of lunged forward, but he got back. The ball wasn't snapped. That should be against Georgetown. We'll see what the referees call here. And the line defense celebrating as they eavesdropped on that conversation between the referees. So they'll step it back 5 yards into Georgetown territory at the 48, and it'll be 4th down and 12, and maybe that changes the decision here for the Georgetown Eagles as Westfall comes out onto the field in punt formation for the Eagles. Clock moving at 2:35 remaining here in the first quarter. No one back deep because of the last fake, and they'll let that punt from Westfall take a Georgetown roll, and it's going to get into the end zone, though. They were unable to get a guy downfield, and so the Lions will have the ball at the 20, 1st and 10. It'll be their 3rd series to start right at around that spot.
Hey, perfect. With a little bit of wind that we had out there, that's all we needed right there.
Well, it took a good Georgetown roll. The guy that was, I guess, tasked to run down there and make sure he downed it was on the opposite side of the field from where it rolled. So not only did he have to run 50 yards downfield, he also had to run about 50 yards across field. And that's, overall he
That's a
probably ran
daunting
about
task.
70
Yeah.
yards. Yeah. And he was unable to down it, so the Lions will have decent field position at the 20, considering where it could have been right around the 1. Mitchell will remain the quarterback. We have a empty set for Mitchell as there are 5 receivers in the line formation, 3 at the top, and they'll bring a man in motion. And as Mitchell fakes to that man in motion, that was Mason Montgomery, 1 and 1A of the quarterbacks, and Mitchell kept it and unfortunately was dropped for a 2-yard loss. Now going to be 2nd down and 12 as the Lions break the huddle quickly. Same formation, Mitchell under center this time. And he's going to just carry straight ahead up to about the 21. That's an interesting call. Kind of what you would call if your back was against the goal line to give yourself a little bit of breathing room. But maybe they saw something on film there in the center that they felt like they could take advantage of. And it's 3rd and 9 now for the Lion offense. Very interesting. You don't hardly ever see the Lions under center. And it's rare that you see any high school team under center unless they're running a wing T or something like that.
And that quarterback's a big boy. He's good for every bit of 4 yards. So
yeah,
I
he
don't
got
blame him
close
on
to that.
one.
And so fake to Gordon. Mitchell has to roll. He's got a couple of defenders harassing him, and he's going to be tackled for no gain right about the line of scrimmage. And that'll bring up 4th down. The Lions will have to bring the punting unit out. I don't see any penalty flags down. There's about a minute left. The Lions will probably let most of this play clock run down as Rene Rodriguez comes in to punt. Back deep to receive that punt's Maddox Borden, a junior wide receiver / quarterback. Might be the future quarterback. What's McDougal? He's a young guy. He's a sophomore, so yeah, he'll have to compete with McDougal. Rodriguez gets a decent punt off, bounces, takes a Georgetown roll and then a Lion roll to about the 44. So it's essentially just a push over the last couple of series, as this is where Georgetown started about 5 yards back in their last offensive series. So they huddle on the sideline, line defense out on the field. 24 seconds remaining here in the first.
It's been a hard-fought quarter so far. These guys are showing moxie on a Friday night.
I really like it. I like the fact that there's no intimidation factor here versus a 3-0 Eagle team that, you know, if you look at history, recent history, they've had some pretty good games against Leander.
Yeah.
Pistol formation, they're going to get Jet Walker on a sweep, and he's going to get stacked up. The Lions did a great job of stringing that out. He may gain 1 or 2 yards. I think that was Bridwell on the tackle.
Corshire was in on that as well. He got lateral and ran that guy down. That's good pursuit right there by the Lions.
Yeah, I used to play that in spot. That was always a scary proposition when a big running back is coming right at you, and you know you can't let him on the outside. You got a guy trying to block you.
Close that gap.
Yeah, a lot of fun during those years, and you pay for it throughout life.
Right.
With nagging,
crash test dummy,
with nagging injuries, and
weatherman over here.
And that's going to be the end of the first quarter. Do we have any score updates? Not yet. So right now, KXAN not showing any updates. We'll take a quick break and we'll see if we get some scores here. Yeah, right now it looks like everybody's scoreless, or KXAN is more focused on Helene in Florida than they are on high school football, which is very possible if you've ever seen anytime there's a storm in the United States, the local stations, those weather guys, man, they love the weather. Juan gave me the thumbs up. Of course, you know, he's a meteorologist by trade, so yeah, I like to tease. So we're having fun here. It's a 7-7 score. We're headed into the second quarter. It is Georgetown Eagle football. It's 2nd down and 8. They have it at their own 46-yard line. The Lion defense getting coached currently near where the ball's marked, and they'll break from there straight into their defensive formation. It never ceases to amaze me how defenses, even after a quarter, always want to line up on the side they were on, facing the direction they were facing.
That's that mental muscle memory right there.
Yeah.
They're ready to go.
So we've got a tight formation, couple of receivers wide for the Eagles. Walker, the running back, next to McDougal, and they'll send one of those tight receivers out in motion. A slant in the flat is complete to number 7. He's able to loop around and get a nice gain up the right sideline. That is Xavier Warren giving the Eagles a pretty good play on 2nd down for a 1st down all the way to the line 27.
That was Malachi Phelan on the stop over there. A shoelace tackle.
Yeah, had an opportunity for an interception. I bet he wants that one back. And that's
key.
McDougal with the keeper on the zone read. Everybody's so focused on Walker that he was able to get a little bit of gain there. Bridwell able to close the gap and keep it minimized to about 3 yards. So 2nd down and 7 ball at the 24 of Leander. The Eagles looking to the sideline, and McDougal giving the signal to the receivers. Jet Walker, the running back, to the left. He has twins over to the narrow side of the formation, does McDougal. He'll bring a man in motion. There's the snap. They're going to fake to Walker. Looking to his right, rolling to his right is McDougal, and somebody closing the gap, and pass is going to be complete as the receiver able to find a little soft spot in the defense. That's Braylon Westfall. And that should be there's a penalty flag in the backfield. Let's see what that is. Could be a late hit or something like that on McDougal. It's possible that it's a hold as well. The chains will stay.
He had a lot of time, though, so it's very possible it could have been a hold.
It is a roughing the passer call against the Lions. For whatever reason, the referee mic stopped working. It was working earlier, but he signaled a roughing the passer. I didn't see who committed that foul because I was busy watching the receiver, number 16 Westfall, pick up a first down. And
Number 9, Anderson right there.
So go ahead.
Yeah, that was tough. I mean, I think it was a good play. Turf Monster might have helped on that one.
Well, Georgetown's going to get their plays, and that's one of the things about football. You want to go in and you want to shut everybody out, and you don't want to give up first downs. And some defenses are pretty good, and they can do that for the most part. But it doesn't matter who you're playing. There are going to be plays made against you. These guys are working every bit as hard as the Lions are working, and they want to win. They want to go undefeated. The Lions just want to win district here.
Who can make the most of those plays, right?
Yep. Pistol formation with Walker behind McDougal. They're going to hand straight at – no, they're going to fake it to Walker. They fooled me, and they hit the tight end on a little route in the flat. Number 81 is that receiver, Jake Melock. And he'll carry it down to about the 5-yard line, 2nd and goal, Eagles. The Lions here want to try to force a field goal attempt or a conversion attempt on 4th down from this offense. But you don't want to give them much more room towards that goal line, especially with Big Jet Walker as the running back. 2 receivers here on the near side of the formation for McDougal. Walker, the running back. They snap directly to Walker.
Direct snap to
I don't know if that was designed or unintentional, but whatever it was,
right.
It worked, and it fooled the Lions as Walker able to carry it in off the left side of that offensive line for Georgetown's first lead of the game. Score now 13-7.
Kind of gave you a deer in the headlight look right there.
Yeah, it kind of caught me off guard too, but you have a big, tall running back like that. It makes it pretty easy.
Right.
And it looks like they're going to stay with their offense here in a weird formation, and then they change their mind, and they, just like earlier, bring in the kicker was out as a wideout, number 34, Christopher is in for the point after. Snap, hold, kick is up, and the score is now 14-7. Georgetown, and as I said, that's their first lead of today's game. 10:23 remaining in the second. I've been doing Leander games for a long time. They've had some good years, but there's been some down times, probably more so than you would like. And I see improvement in this program.
Yeah, that was good defense right there.
Week in, week out. Yeah, I mean, give credit to Georgetown. They executed on that drive. Really what hurt the Lions was that roughing the passer penalty. Otherwise, they may have forced a field goal attempt by the Eagles. Looks like we have an early score. You want to read that in, Ben?
Sure. So far, Cedar Park Timberwolves 10-0 versus Killian Chaparral Bobcats, and Cedar Ridge Raiders and Round Rock Dragons.
What's the score in that one?
Round Rock currently in the lead, 14-7.
Okay.
And then, of course, the Lions score is 14-7 as well, with Georgetown on top. Christopher lining up to kick back deep. The Lion kick returners are trying to mess with Christopher and waiting until the last second, and that's going to be number 1, Zane Wooldridge, along with number 28, Malachi Ramos, back deep to receive. Ramos has had 2 kick returns so far tonight, and this one a little bit shallow is going to hit the ground. Ramos able to field it around the 10, running laterally. Ball's on the ground. And it's on the ground again. The Lions are able to recover it. That was close to a Georgetown touchdown as Leander dodged a bullet there. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 7.
Yeah, you don't give Georgetown the ball at the 6-yard line.
No.
So that was a good recovery right there.
That's the kind of situation that, you kind of get yourself behind an 8 ball there where you give Georgetown an opportunity to take a 2-touchdown lead and you're playing catch-up the rest of the game.
They get the ball second half. So
right.
Yeah.
You want to be able to go into half either tied or just down a score, but ultimately you really want to have it tied as you go into half, and we'll see what the Lions can do.
It'd be good to see the Lions take the reins here and just kind of milk that clock a little bit going into halftime, 14-14.
Mitchell, the quarterback, he'll roll, and they're going to hand to Kamarian Gordon on a little bit of a counter, and their Georgetown defensive line sniffed that out pretty easily. Maybe a loss of a yard to the 6. It's going to be 2nd down and 11 now for the Lions. I like the play design, but you got to get those blocks, and you got to get those blocks on the backside as well. That's a good effort there by Georgetown's number 9, and that is Seth Warren. 9:40 and counting here in the half. Gordon, the running back, to the right of Logan Mitchell. 2 receivers here on the near side. They'll bring Montgomery in motion. They'll fake to him. Mitchell drops back. He's in the end zone, throws it down the sideline. He's got Wooldridge. He's caught it at the 40, cuts up, makes 2 tacklers miss, and then he's going to get caught from behind. But it's a big reception for Zane Wooldridge. Give Cole Mitchell, number 11, the credit. The Lions have it out at the 46.
I mean, the Magic Man had to step on him the whole way. I mean, there were just no.
You know, he's so fast. Mitchell's got a cannon.
Yeah.
He's so fast that he's outrunning some of those throws even from Logan Mitchell. He kind of had to hesitate and come back a little bit to make that reception. He made a couple of guys miss with the spin.
No, he did good selling that out right there. That DB bit on it, and he went vertical, and there was that ball. And here's the Magic Man.
So we got a spread formation, handoff straight ahead to Gordon. He's going to lower his head and get close to midfield. They're going to mark him at the line 49 for a gain of 3 yards. It's going to be 2nd down and 7. 8:40 and counting here in the half. We'll get some more scores to you here after a little while. Next break, we'll get some more to you. It looks like they're updating their scoreboard, and much of the district games aren't really panning out the way you would think they would. They're definitely all tight. This is a tough district. Gordon straight ahead. He breaks through for a nice gain up into Georgetown territory to the 41. He just kept those feet churning. Frank, you know a little bit about that.
Hey, don't stop the feet. Keep them moving.
Between the guards, that's some tough sledding in there, and he's able to get a nice gain. They'll give it to him again. He does the same thing up to about the 38. So a gain of about 3, and, you know, the Lions not wasting any time in the huddle. They're going straight to the line of scrimmage and running plays, and that will put stress on the defense, especially those guys on the defensive line. You got to get your substitutions in quickly, or you're going to be playing with some tired players. Same formation. Gordon to the right of Mitchell. They're going to fake to him. We had a whistle as it's going to be a motion penalty against Leander, according to the headline judge here on the near side, and the white hat confirms. So they'll step back the line of scrimmage to about the 43, where it'll be 2nd and 12 for Leander.
Well, I'll tell you right now, that O-line for Leander is putting a beating on Georgetown's defensive line now. They're on their heels, and they cannot catch a breath right now.
And that's when you want to take advantage of them. That's why I think the Lions are playing at a little bit of a faster pace than we're accustomed to them doing. And that's something you can work on in a bye week, right?
Yeah.
Break the huddle fast, get up the line of scrimmage, run the play.
Georgetown has a Jet Walker, and Leander has a Kamarian Gordon who's running real hard tonight.
Yep. Spread formation, Gordon the running back beside Mitchell. He walks up to the line of scrimmage and either calls an audible or gives some signal. Fakes to Gordon. There's the pass complete to Pites over the middle, and he breaks the tackle. He's at the 15-10, 5. They knock the ball out of his hand as he's nearing the goal line, and that is a touchback. Derek Pites robbed of a touchdown. You got to tuck that football away. That is very unfortunate for Leander, but they – you know, that's where you talk about the short-term memory, right?
Yeah,
Frank, you can't dwell on that.
Get a stop right here, but, I mean, that
should have been a score. It should be tied right now, but instead it's going to be 14-7.
You hate the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but, I mean, that was an amazing play. He broke the tackle. Just got to finish it. You got to finish it.
And Coach Bailey out on the field letting his player and the referees know about the call. I mean, it was close. It looked like it was a good call to me, as he was about the 1.5 yard line, but up here it's a weird angle, so it's hard to tell. And so Georgetown comes out with 3 receivers in their formation and 2 running backs in the backfield with McDougal. It looks like they're going to try some power football. They'll bring the H-back in motion. They're going to hand straight ahead to Walker. He has a little bit of a seam on the left side, carries for a gain of about 8. He thinks he never touched down, but it was obvious that he was down right around the 29-yard line.
Yeah, we just need Leander to keep his composure right here. Things happen. Get a stop, get the ball back.
Right, you can't be dwelling on it at this point anymore.
No. Defense had a little break, now go back and get the ball.
So we got the pistol, 3 receivers, top of the formation. They're going to bring one over to balance it. And they're going to throw a pass. It's a little screen pass to that receiver.
Oh,
he's able to break a tackle
go.
or 2, but he didn't get much. In fact, he might have lost a yard.
That was old Liam Walters right there with the tackle. That was a good security tackle right there.
Yeah, that was tough because he broke the first tackle, made the first guy miss, and broke the second tackle.
He broke 2 tackles right there, and
Yeah,
25
actually.
was there to make sure they didn't go 88 out the gate.
So it is 3rd down and 1. The line defense has a chance to get back off the field and try to get some more points. There's 5:44 and counting here in the 3rd, a tight formation with 1 wide out here on the wide side of the field for the Eagles. I'm handed to Walker if I'm Georgetown.
Yeah.
And that is what they do, and he's able to get into the second level and loses the ball for a second, but he's able to get his hands back on the ball, and it'll be first down Georgetown at their own 41.
Well, that boy's just running tough right now.
Yeah, that's one of those situations where he got a little momentum, and he's a lot harder to bring down. Evan Perkins in on the stop for the Lions. Well, the referee was saying something. I don't know what it was because his mic's bad. We have timeout Leander. So with 5:12, we'll get a score update from Ben Alaniz. Ben, what do you got here in the area?
Yeah, right now we got Glen Grizzlies versus Eastview Patriots. Currently 22-19 to 14 in the second quarter.
So who's winning that game?
Currently Glen is winning.
So Glenn, one of the line opponents, as well as Eastview in district play, up early in the first half, 22-14. What other scores do we have? Looks like Vista and Vandergrift are knotted at 0, while Rouse and Lake Belton also no score. I sometimes wonder when it's scoreless like that if nobody's called it into the station. Yeah, go back up and see what those other scores are. Because one of those is the Cedar Park score. Yeah.
Yeah, Cedar Park currently 10-0 against Killian Chaparral Bobcats.
So that was a muffed snap that went
There you
right
go.
into the hands of Walker, and the Lions able to drop him for a loss on the busted play.
That was old Bridwell right there.
All the way back to the 36, and that's another example of not giving
Solo
him.
tackle from Bridwell. That was a good tackle right there, Bridwell.
Yeah, you just don't give him a chance to build up a head of steam, and not only do you get him for a quick tackle, you drop him for a loss. So we have 3 receivers in the formation. The only back besides McDougal is the running back Walker, and they're going to send him out. So it's more of a spread formation. Pass is complete, and there's going to be a block in the back, but no penalty flag came out as that pass is completed. I can't believe they didn't call that. That was a hold and a block in the back, but Devin Sedgwick is going to be given a first down on the lack of a call. Coach Price giving the headline judge an earful about missing that call. We've got a bunch of receivers, 4 of them, quads, and it is a screen pass in the flat to Walker, and he's dragged down after a gain of about 6. It looks like that's going to be number 31, Braxton Hernandez, unless I got that number wrong. 37. That 1 looked like, or that 7 looked like a 1. That's Evan Perkins on the stop, and that could have been a big play, so that was a good tackle there by Perkins. 2nd down and 3 as they tried to pull out of the Lion playbook the quick snap on that last down. McDougal and Walker in the backfield. They're going to hand to Walker.
Get him.
Off the right side. He's going to have the first down and carry defender down to about the 31. I think that was 25. Liam Walters on the stop for Leander. It'll be 1st and 10 Georgetown, 3:36, and the Lions are kind of feeling the pressure here defensively as Georgetown gets towards the red zone. And we should be having Coach L.D. Williams come up here for the halftime. Hopefully. He might be having too much fun at homecoming.
Right. Been making past all the handshakes down there.
Well, that and, you know, the good thing is a lot of the stadium staff were stadium staff at the time that he was a coach. That pass intended for number 7, Xavier Warren, out there in coverage for Leander, number 8. And that pass a little long. That was Tyler Mormon, is now 2nd down and 10, ball at the 31. But we'll take you down memory lane a little bit with Coach Williams if he gets up here. Like I said, and like you said, he's probably doing a lot of glad handing on the way up here.
I see Coach Gideon down there on the 10-yard line too. He blessed us with his presence this week.
I wouldn't be surprised if he showed up either.
Right.
If he saw Coach Williams, they might both be up here. And we got a little jet sweep there, and Lions had a chance to get the receiver in the backfield, but unfortunately he was able to break the tackle, and that's Xavier Warren again, and he'll carry it down to the 20-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10 Georgetown. We have an injured player down, so with 2:58, we'll have an injury timeout. So we have the injury timeout. We'll bring in Coach Williams here momentarily, and we'll get his assessment of the first half and what he's seeing on the field from both of the teams, and then we'll turn the floodlight on and be blinded for our halftime interview with him. We'll talk a little more history with him at halftime, but Lions tending to one of their linemen that hopefully is more of a cramp than anything, and it looks like that might be the case as Max Schwepper comes up under his own power and doesn't want any help from anybody. And that's typical of linemen, right, Frank? They like to stand on their own as much as they can.
They never show weakness.
That's exactly right. But it is a team effort on both lines. If everybody's not doing their job, you can get gashed on your defensive line, and your offense doesn't look very good if the front unit's not blocking well.
He was just taking a break for his guys. He's letting them rest up a little bit.
So we got 3 receivers for McDougal with the big running back right to his side, Walker.
Oh, direct snap.
They're going to direct snap to Walker, and he's able to
hold
spin
on,
4
Leander got
balls
the
on the
ball.
ground. It could be a turnover. It is a
That's
turnover.
number 11 right there.
The
He just
Lions
took
have
it.
the ball with 2:43.
That was Garrett Pikes. The guy who lost the ball got the ball back for him. That's good.
So we're going to go on ahead and get Coach Williams in here, and you can join the festivities as we discuss what's going on here on the field. The Lions, you know, they came out, Coach, with how are you, first of all?
I'm doing great. Thanks
Doing
for having
great.
me.
How's retirement?
It's good. It's good. It's good. I don't have to get up early. It's good.
That's do you still get up early though?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens, right? After several decades of getting up early, it's kind of hard to sleep in.
You're so correct.
Unless you're going to try to stay up till 2 in the morning, and who wants to do that? There's no reason to be up that late. So I'll ask you some questions here in a moment, Coach. But right now we got a spread formation for Logan Mitchell with no one in the backfield besides him. He fakes a run and he hits the receiver over the middle. That's Derek Pites, and that's a good thing to get him back into it, Coach. And so, you know, the Lions came out and grabbed momentum early. Georgetown had a quick answer. It was 7-7. Then Georgetown able to get a nice drive there in the second quarter to take the lead, and the Lions had a play that was going into the end zone, and it got poked out. And what did you see there?
Well, just same thing you did. I mean, they, you know, he's fighting for extra yards, thinks he's going to get in the end zone, and all of a sudden it gets poked out. And, hindsight, you sure wish you had the ball on the 5-yard line, first and goal instead of
It's-
turnover. And that's kind of been the story of this game. There's been some big plays, but Leander's done a great job of trying to hold the explosive places. They are so explosive. Their receivers are really, really explosive. So,
Well, we talked to the broadcast team, or I did, Georgetown, and discussed the rosters, and 3 or 4 of the kids on their offense are all being recruited by Division I schools, including two of the receivers, the running back, and I think the tight end, are all have interest in collegiate careers at the sport. So it looks like after that gain by Mitchell, they're stepping off a penalty against Leander. I didn't see the signal. Was it a hold down the field?
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Because that'll still be a first down for Leander based on where they're marking it.
yeah, if it's a hold, it's a spot foul. So that's how they're able to still get a first down.
And it does look like they're indicating the 30 to be the line of scrimmage. So the line's in a huddle as there's a long discussion with the Georgetown coach wants to come out and talk about it a little bit. So, Coach Price, we talked to him earlier in the week at Guaco Taco, Coach, and he told us that you came by and saw him. And, that's one of the things that Frank and I discussed with him and some of the players is the lifetime tie to being a Leander Lion that occurs whether you're a coach, a player, a teacher, an administrator, whatever it is.
That's exactly right. I was here for 19 years, so I was a Leander Lion longer than I was my home high school. So, I bleed blue and white with a touch of red as much as anybody. I love being around this program as much as I can. I always try to hit a game or two. Coach Price has always welcomed me. Tonight with it being homecoming, we got a lot of ex-players here, and it's really neat to see them. It's really neat to see, Frank and other people. You go out to eat or whatever, and hey coach, and it's a really neat experience. But I didn't know about the Guaco. I didn't get that invitation, so I don't know.
You had to blame Frank for that one.
All right.
Yeah, sorry about that one, Coach.
Did you coach at Leander in 1988? Would have been the 87 season?
No, my first year was 1990.
Okay, so you probably coached against my younger brother. We played at Midway.
Okay.
And I think he had 19 tackles against Leander here at AC
Son of a
Bible.
gun. I remember some Midway games. I remember being a freshman coach at Midway and losing a game 2-0.
Oh, wow.
We had the ball on the 1-yard line, and we had a pitch play called, and we fumbled the pitch into the end zone, and it was a rainy day and lost 2-0.
Yeah, we came down, and my senior year, we came down and played here at Bible. Of course, it was grass and kind of twisted a little bit, but there was a guy named David Brown that was the running back, and he was just a beast, and we ended up dropping that game 14-7, but when it was all said and done, we won district. But so coming into my role here at Leander, I always kind of had I don't like Leander because I played him, right? Until I started to get to know the program and the coaches and the kids and the teachers. Mitchell dropping back, and he's going to hit Wooldridge in the flat. He'll make one guy miss, but not the second. But ultimately, I became a Lion by adoption more than anything else. And
well, there's nothing like they're going fast here, but there's nothing like the Leander kids. I mean, they're really, really special.
So that pistol formation with 4 wides, they're going to fake to Gordon, and Mitchell's going to keep it not much there on the backside of the play, and that'll bring up 4th down with about 90 seconds, clock moving. It almost looks like the Lions may be okay with going into halftime down a score. It will be Georgetown with the football, though. You don't want to waste this.
I think Georgetown, I'm surprised they're not calling a timeout if they have any left. The scoreboard, the bottom half of the scoreboard's outside.
Yeah,
I don't know
they had some new equipment installed this week.
Yeah, they have a couple more left, though.
Yeah, I think they do. But they had some new equipment, and the referee mic was working initially, and it's not working now. So I just think they probably should have picked the off season to install equipment and test it. But, they don't worry about it as much. That pass complete over the middle to Wooldridge, and he loses the football. Are they going to call it a completion?
He's calling it down.
He said he was down. So it will be Leander football, it looks like, at the 44-yard line of Georgetown. What a catch from Zane Wooldridge, and we've seen 2 of those from Wooldridge tonight. Gordon, the running back. We haven't seen Hargrave tonight, so he may be nicked up. Clock moving, and Mitchell will spike it, and obviously the Lions are out of timeouts. 43 seconds. The Lions have a pretty good kicker. I think if you get it inside the 30 to, maybe the 25, then you have an opportunity to go in with a little bit of momentum with a field goal at the very least. But take a couple of shots. There's 30 seconds.
Exactly. And they've been doing very well with some of these slants. They've hit a deep post, some pop passes. So they've done a good job of attacking that defense from high-low as far as in the secondary.
So they're going to break the huddle with 4 wides. Gordon, the running back, beside Logan Mitchell. And the biggest improvement that I've seen over the last couple of years is this offensive line. And they were all sophomores last year, and so they still got another year ahead of them. This is a team that'll be to be contended with this year and going into next year. Mason Montgomery, the other quarterback, has the only win as a starter so far this year. But Mitchell playing lights out. We always say they're 1 and 1A, right, Frank? But we haven't seen Mason Montgomery in the quarterback role tonight. He's been
fresh for the second half.
He's out right there as wide receiver, and we've seen him come on the jet sweep a couple of times. He took a handoff once, and they faked to him another time.
Middle of the field's wide open if you want to run a deep slant again.
Let's see what they do here. Mitchell throwing deep down the sideline to Montgomery, and a little bit of contact, but the pass uncatchable. Clock stops, or it doesn't stop. It should have stopped at 42, but it is goes all the way down to 38.
You got the wrong headset on. You got to have that one on because that was wide open right there.
Yeah.
One of the things that we get to enjoy when we're up here is when some big play happens, either against us, then it happens over here, or for us, and there's always a coach slamming his fists onto the table or screaming something. So it's a lot of fun to be here in the press box.
You work so hard and all those hours on the weekend coming up with these game plans, and then something little usually is the difference between it being executed successfully or not, and just that it does get frustrating sometimes. But there's also, on the flip side, nothing like the joy of coming up with some type of strategy, working all week long, and then the kids implementing that, and it's a success. So
yeah, that's the one that you got to be a little careful about poking your chest a little too far out, because that's the thing about football. You got to continually work, you got to continually get better, because there's always somebody ready to knock you off. 3 receivers here on the near side. That is Montgomery it's Mitchell at quarterback. Pass is incomplete.
Big decision here.
That's going to stop the clock. It will be 4th down with 34 seconds. It's well out of Rodriguez's field goal range. So we'll see. It looks like they're going to keep the offense out there. Maybe they could draw them off and get a free 5 yards and then make it a little more manageable on 4th down. We'll see what the strategy is here.
Find Woolridge on the slant route real quick. That's the strategy.
It's helped out. 4 receivers in the formation. Kamarian Gordon, the running back, to the left of Logan Mitchell as he looks to Coach Bailey on the sideline for the signal. Kind of a long delay. There's about 3 seconds on the play clock. They get it off.
Go. Middle of the field.
Pass intended for number 10, Isaac Montgomery, the sophomore. And that'll turn the ball over to Georgetown with a half a minute to work with. So the Lion defense is going to have to bow their neck here and try to prevent even a field goal attempt if they're able.
Yeah, it was a good call. They had what they wanted. They just didn't.
The pass a little bit too tall.
Yeah.
And you talked about things not working out despite all of the stuff you worked on, and the example is that touchdown they got poked out. That's one that. Even if you're holding the football properly, that defender was able to reach in and poke it out. It's tough to hold it when it gets hit from that angle. So 5 wides here for the Eagles in an empty formation. McDougal looking on the right sideline, goes deep, It
Great
bounces
play.
off the defender's back. Good coverage there. I think that was 28. Malachi Ramos. Let's make sure. I need to use my binoculars, I guess. That's number 22. We want to give credit where it's due. That was Cannon Laywell. And so 2nd down and 10, the clock at 22 seconds. Another empty set with 3 receivers on the Georgetown side of the formation. Lions with a 3-man front, kind of in a prevent. It's going to be a screen pass to number 7. And he's able to make a couple of guys miss, and the Lions finally wrangle him out of bounds. That's Xavier Warren. Had a couple of big plays on that last possession for the Eagles, and the clock, as they say, he stopped his momentum before he got out of bounds. So the clock's going to burn out, and that'll be halftime. So we'll turn the light on, and we'll talk a little bit about Leander tradition with you, Coach. You probably are more of an expert than I am for sure, but old Frank here probably has some things to reminisce about. So if you'll stand between us.
Crazy on the court.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
It's good to have you, Coach.
So there's some of that camaraderie right there. So tell us a little bit about Frank. I met
comes from a great family, and just tough as nails. So the thing that we did back then, we had a goal line package, and it was a heavy package, a Rhino package. You hear people talk about that, but we pulled Frankie in, and he was the lead blocker, and he always made it worked all the time just because we ran right behind Frankie, and every now and then we'd reward him and give him the ball. So he had some touchdowns, and he can probably tell you how many touchdowns
he's told me before.
Yeah, but if you ask him how many yards he had maybe 5 yards.
It was about 5 more yards than touchdowns. I think he said he had 9 touchdowns and like 14 yards or something.
His longest run was 2. So, but him and his brother, him and his brother, his family, they were just amazing, and they were great to be around. Just like the other Leander kids that we had, his mom was involved taking pictures and always sending us pictures of these great shots at the game and stuff. And so it was just one of those things that, man, they were bought in 100%. They were bought in. Whatever you needed, it was there for you. And then you have these 2 kids that knew what hard work was. And to this day, he's a hard worker.
Yeah, I know. He's working on my roof right now.
He is a hard worker. And that's what we had, a bunch of those kids. And I tell people, because I've coached at other places, and you couldn't do the things that you did here. And that was probably a big mistake on my part, because I thought everybody was like Leander kids. I thought they'd run through, this brick wall for you. And not everybody quite does that. But it's
gotten worse over the years, too.
It was just some tough kids that knew football, because that's what they did. They didn't stay on the couch. They were outside playing. In high school, you don't have anything like a recess, but they'd go eat lunch, and they might be out there throwing the football around at the end of lunch. But it was just those type of kids, and love them. And I said this earlier, it is so cool to go out in the public, and you see them all the time, and my kids who are right there, they'll tell you this all the time, that, they hear Coach Williams, and, here they come, and just great stories. And then I can remember, that was number, 22, and he did this, and he did that. But, I can't remember to pick up milk on the way home. I forget that, but I can remember some of those plays. So.
Well, and it's one of those things that, we talked about a little bit earlier as the half rolled down, how it's really a community here at Leander. And Frank, he was just sponsoring through his business that he owns the program. Mm-hmm. And that encouraged me to reach out to him, because I needed a roof. And then he came and looked at my roof, and I'm like, oh, you should probably do the broadcast with me. And he got his ears perked up. And, he was like, what, really?
Yeah.
And so, I don't think I could get rid of him at this point.
Probably not.
And I wouldn't want to, but
probably not.
The first podcast that we had, the coaches show, we had at Brooklyn Heights, and you know Coach Grissom. Coach Grissom came out of his way, and he slapped hands with Frank, and he said, "This guy did it right. He did it right every day." And so, that's the kind of commitment that you really need in a program, and you don't always get that at other places.
So true.
And I can't take all the credit for that. The coaches back then, I mean, these guys right here, we looked up to them. I mean, it all started back from getting dropped off on Friday nights, playing football with our Pop Warner jerseys on, watching them on the sidelines. Like, it all starts from Al Pena in the stands, Paul Thompson in the stands playing quarterback.
Right.
Like, it goes back.
Well, I was eating lunch with or dinner with my daughter before we came here, and she asked me, about former coaches. Which coaches did you think were the best and this stuff? And then so I started talking about Coach Gideon and how he was the most prepared coach I've ever been around. And we were so prepared for every little situation. So we knew. We were never surprised. If we got the ball on the 1 yard line, our 1 yard line, we knew what we were going to do. We knew what we were going to do on their 1 yard line. We spent hours and hours and hours going over stuff, and we used maybe 20% of all the stuff we prepared for, but we were so prepared and we worked so hard. And then the kids, like I said, bought into it, and they were just hard workers, and they did what you told them to do, and they didn't ask any questions. So,
well, and this whole theme kind of in our discussion, our conversation with you is really, it just shows that there's a real commitment to this as a community, to raise up these kids. They've got a very good coaching staff now, in terms of holding some of these kids accountable, but it's a little bit of a different time than when you were doing, when I played, it was right around that time, and like you said, you would run through a wall for your coach. You might not even like him, but you would still do it, right? If he said go do it, and a lot of that is instilled by parents, like you mentioned Frank's family, but ultimately it's a mutual respect that occurs, and talk a little bit about that time, because there were some runs that the Leander football team made deep into the playoffs. Never quite made it all the way, but we were real close a couple of times.
Right. So, and just this goes into everything we're saying, but it's the 04 class is having their reunion this weekend.
That's what
and
they
they invited it to me. They reached out to a coach and say, "Hey, we want you to come to our Saturday night or Sunday family," which is just a huge
awesome.
honor. So that 04 class, that's the 03 football team, which just went 12-2, had an unbelievable year. We, and a lot of those guys are here tonight. It was so good to see them, but we had we went 9-1, and we were 9-0, and we kind of rested some players on our last game, and we didn't win the last game, and that was probably my biggest regret, because we really could have been 10-0, and
right.
That just doesn't happen. But
Yeah,
we were getting ourselves
at
ready
all.
for the playoffs. The first round was Belton, and they had a player named Ramont Taylor who was
he
unbelievable.
was pretty good. Yeah.
Went to Texas, and we won 14-13. They missed an extra point, but probably the biggest play was Mike Kern was chasing Ramont Taylor from behind, and he punched the ball out, and we got possession of the ball to keep them from going ahead. Then the next week was Cy Springs, and we beat them pretty good. And then the third week was Dallas Carter, and they were the biggest guys I've ever seen. And we played them on a Saturday in the win, and I think the score was like 11-9. It was just a ugly back and forth game, but we got through it. And then our last game, which was the quarterfinals, we played Allen, who we all know Allen's a pretty good team. Our quarterback gets mono. He can't play, so we had to bring up a sophomore quarterback named Drew Dunn, throws for almost 400 yards, and we lost that game. I want to say it was 35-42. So it was a back and forth game. And
that Allen program, they got so many kids to choose
they
from.
did.
It's ridiculous.
And we went toe-to-toe with them and played. And that was kind of the start. That was Coach Gideon's first year. That was my first year as offense coordinator. Kelly Broussard was a great defense coordinator, and he coached defense. And so that was our first year together as a staff in that position, those positions. And then from then on, we just kind of built on that. We really worked good together. We did good things in the off season. I told you we were prepared. Our halftime organization was so prepared. It was just so much stuff went into it. and that was under the leadership of Coach Gideon, and it just fostered, next year new kids, next year new kids, and then Frankie's seeing that when he was younger, and now he wants to play, and then it just snowballs, and you have all these great kids wanting to play, and even when Cedar Park opened, most of the kids were still here, and it took a while before
they did start bleeding off some of the numbers.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other new schools that were built also did that to Leander specifically.
Leander's kind of a weird situation as far as schools. So usually when you build schools, they grow one way or the other. And at Leander, they've grown all the way around it. So Leander's almost kind of landlocked where the other schools can still grow and still do things. So, that kind of hurt the way Leander as far as future.
I blame the planning of the district for that. I mean, you got to build high schools. I mean, you can choose the route of Allen or Westlake or Lake Travis and just keep packing kids into the building and adding new buildings. But ultimately, this area has grown so immensely in the time that you've been you were a coach here.
So many high schools now, and they're doing such a good thing. So I go to high schools quite a bit, go to games. I went to a game last night. Usually I would go to 1 or 2 games on Friday night. I after retired, I got into real estate, and so I started sponsoring. I wanted to do something, and I sponsored this Offensive Lineman Award. So it's the Austin Area Offensive Lineman Award, and so each week I send out 40 emails to all the coaches from Bastrop to Liberty Hill, Dripping Springs, the whole gamut. And then those coaches can nominate players if they want. And then I have a committee that's really good. Sports broadcasters, newspaper people, ex-ADs, and that committee picks the winners. I don't vote, so I don't want anybody mad at me.
Right.
So that committee picks, and then usually on Wednesday we go out, we do a surprise celebration, and we give them a plaque, and we have a helmet sticker, and we got IHOP to sponsor this year, so we give them pancakes, and so we get a $25 gift card for pancakes, and so it's the second year of doing it, and that's really kept me, grounded into this high school football and going to practices and seeing, and then you get people like Coach Price who just welcomes you.
Yeah.
So that's also, part of it. A lot of places will welcome you, some don't. Right. But it's just really, really cool to be around.
That's one of the things we always tell the seniors that we interview in our podcast. This season's going to be short regardless of how deep you go in the playoffs. It's going to be over in no time, and you're going to only look back. And what we do is we encourage them to find a role in whatever community they end up in, preferably here. But if you go to North Texas and you decide to live in that Metroplex somewhere, then connect with those people there.
Right.
You can be a booster sponsor through donations, but, they could do broadcasts. They can do photos. You mentioned the photos that Frank's mom was taking during his time. And it's just things that in order to keep a community vibrant, there needs to be a connection there.
And it goes fast. We were walking on the field with the captains, and that 2003 team got to walk with the captains. And one of the players from them goes, "You told me it was going to go fast, but I didn't believe it. Yeah. I didn't believe it back then, but it really has gone fast." And, just like that quick. And that was playing 14 games. We were playing another half season compared to, just playing 10 games. So it goes really fast. And I'll tell you another story about that 12-2. So we play Allen, and we're playing at the old Cowboy Stadium, the one with the hole in the roof. And we were the last game. So I think it was a triple header or a quadruple header, but I think we kicked off like at 9:30, 10 o'clock.
So you were playing until midnight.
Late. Yeah. And so we played, and we had a shootout. So it was, it was really, really late. Get on the bus after we shower and eat and all that stuff, and then we got a 3-hour drive back. And it's probably 4 a.m. We're on these buses, and when we hit now it's all grown up different now, but when we hit the railroad tracks where the curve is on 183, about where 183 hits 183A, I guess. When we hit that, all of a sudden, lights from the police. So the police gave us there's no one on the street, but the police gave us a police escorted into the stadium, at 4 a.m, 3:30 in the morning, whatever it was. And it was just they were saying thank you. And it was just so cool. But that's, that was what makes the difference. And that's what gets kids running through a brick wall.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not just a coach. It's not just a player. It's not just a parent. It's everybody involved working and pulling that rope all together the same way.
It's got to be a team effort, and you have to be able to rely on the man next to you and the man that's coaching you as well. Frank, do you have any funny stories about Coach that you want to bring up?
I know where you live.
Yeah, I'll still make you run.
No, I mean, Coach is a hard worker. I mean, I've had a story is during the workout days, the off-season days, where you do mat drills and
where it's easy
we'd be in the
to
wrestling
loaf
room.
a little bit.
Well, there was no loafing with Coach.
I know,
Well,
but that's what I'm saying. If he's not around, you know, if it's off season, that's when you try to get away with
There's
it.
a lot of people that would quit and go join other sports from just doing that off-season program, and it was no joke.
Yeah.
So the wrestling room just got built, and we used the wrestling room. I don't know if you used it with you or if we, but we had a wrestling room, so we had all these mats, and we did these mat drills, and they came from the rubber gym where they were doing all these running drills, so they were already soaked. And then that room was hot. And,
it's steamy in there.
And we did all the stuff, and if anybody messes up, you called it first down, and you send them to the back of the line because you got to start all over. And, man, they I think I heard me called some names a few times when
under the breath.
But we did. And I mean, it was all about focusing when you're tired, you know, not jumping off sides.
Very important.
You know, and all that stuff. Did you ever have to run the hill? Do you remember the hill? Some of those guys were talking about the hill next to the stairs.
Yeah.
We used to bear crawl or up and down the hill and push a plate.
Push the plate across the.
So
we had one of those. Yeah, that's not any fun.
Yeah, so they were bringing up all that stuff, but it was fun. I'm glad you didn't come up with too many bad stories there.
No. Coach Williams was fair though. My freshman year, he taught me how to read cutback holes. Me, I was just a bowling ball going
right.
north to
You
south.
just run straight ahead.
He's like, "Look, Frankie, you opened it up. And look, you got some lanes back here. You can check.
Open your eyes, don't close them."
So he taught me how to read when I ran the ball.
That's awesome.
So as an offensive coach, who was your most naturally gifted offensive player?
My son's in the background raised his hand. Torrey Williams was probably one of the best athletes. Ended up going to Purdue. I think he was on the practice squad with the Texans for a while, but he played offense and defense. He was just, that's who you went to.
Right.
You know, that against Allen, we were down 7 with 2 minutes to go in the game, had the ball on about the 5-yard line, 4th down. And I remember talking to Coach Gideon during the timeout. It's like, we got to throw the ball to Torrey because if we don't, he's our best player. If we don't and we don't get it, then we're going to spend our whole year,
rest of your life, really.
Rest of our life going, why didn't we do? Let's throw it to our best player. If he makes a play, great. If he doesn't make a play, we went with our best player. That was our best shot. And so we did it. Didn't work, but we felt good about it.
Right.
And so that he, you have Paul Thompson. Went to OU. You had Al
Caleb
Pena.
Woodward.
He was right after I coached against him with Texas Tech. Had Josh McKinley,
Blake
another
Gideon.
great, and then Blake Gideon.
Yeah.
Blake Gideon, we put him in at a quarterback
against Pflugerville.
Pflugerville.
Yeah.
And Pflugerville ran a split. I won't get too technical here, but they ran a split team. So on defense, they had what we call 5.5 people on each side of the ball. So they had one guy in the middle, and then they had 5 on each side of the ball. So we loaded up, put 4 receivers to the right, put the running back to the right, put Blake at quarterback, and we just ran sweep. And they still just had 5 guys over there, and it goes 80 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, I was at that game.
And that, I tell everybody that game was, was on the whole Fox Southwest.
Yes.
And we won. Once again, they missed that extra point. Won 31-30. They were going to go for 2, and we called timeout, and then they came off the field, and then they decided to go for 1. And their kicker got all screwed up because of all that going back and forth. And he shanked it.
He missed it.
And they played for the state championship that year. So we were as good as anybody in the state. We just didn't get it done.
Sometimes it's just got to break your way, too. You got to get those breaks.
Injuries are so important. So,
well, Coach, we appreciate you coming up and giving us a little bit of a history lesson on
I love it.
line tradition, and maybe we'll bring you to one of the future podcasts, and
Sounds good. Sounds
you can
good.
at least hang out, and depending on where
I'll throw stuff at Frankie. So.
Yeah, something to keep him distracted.
ADHD don't take much.
Well, I appreciate it, and again, thanks for coming out. And Coach L.D. Williams, Lion Nation, of course, you old-time Lions know, but for your future and new current Lions, this is what it's supposed to look like.
This is Leander right here.
All right. Thanks,
All right,
Coach.
thank you.
We'll forgive you for Westwood.
Yep, that was awesome, man. Listen to him. Sir Dean or anything? Well, we gotta go now. Oh, yeah. You got 10 minutes and 45 seconds.
And I'll take over if I need to.
What do they have? Whatever they have. I don't know what they have now.
It's usually burgers and hot dogs, and maybe like they'll have those golden chick little biscuit sandwiches.
Enjoy the rest of the game, and let's keep the excitement alive. Roll Pride. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our 2024 Homecoming Coronation Presentation. At this time, we are pleased to introduce you to our 2024 Leander High School Homecoming Court, starting with the freshmen, Duchess, and Duke. Freshman Duchess Mia Bradshaw is escorted by her parents Irma and Andrew Bradshaw. Mia is a member of the Sapphires Dance Company at LHS and the Center Stage Dance Company. When not at school, she enjoys art, sewing, writing, and building activities. Mia's future plans include attending college and starting her own dance studio. Freshman Duke Noah Hill, escorted by his parents, Julia and James Hill. Noah was an active member of Hawaiian Park Singers and Leander Band. In the future, he hopes to attend Juilliard while studying music. Sophomore Duchess Coral Nelson, escorted by her parents, Joanna and Ellen Nelson. Coral is a member of the Leander Band and the varsity track programs. When not at school, she enjoys drawing, learning new instruments, and hanging out with the melophones. After high school, she plans on attending the University of Texas and pursuing a degree in music education. Sophomore Duke Tristan Adams, escorted by his parents Laura and Nelson Adams. Tristan is a by his mother, Sean Michelle Evans. River is a member of the Lion football program and enjoys playing golf. He plans to study architecture at Montana State University. Let's give a round of applause to all of our 2024 homecoming royalty and court. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for, your 2024 homecoming queen, Morgan Brannon, and your 2024 homecoming king, River Ha. Congratulations again to the 2024 homecoming court. We would like to thank student council and their sponsors, our LHS principal, Chris Simpson, as well as all the LHS administrators and counselors. We also want to thank the LHS marching band, color guard, bluebells, cheer teams, and their directors. Thank you.
Welcome back to AC Bible as we get ready for the second half. Ben's going to read us some updates on the scores in the area, and we want to thank once again Coach Williams for coming out and giving us a little bit of a history lesson. Ben, what do you got?
Yeah, currently in Cedar Park versus Chaparral, it's currently 17-6 at halftime. Cedar Park in the lead. Then we got Glen versus Eastview. It's currently third quarter, 28-24 Glen. Then Lake Belfin and Rouse. Currently halftime, it is 14-13. Rouse with the 1-point lead. Then Vista Ridge versus Vandegrift. Currently halftime, Vandegrift is leading 31-7.
Wow, so Vandegrift jumped way out ahead of Vista Ridge in what was looked like a pretty tight game early, but this homecoming here for Leander, as Coach mentioned, the class of 2003, as the current iteration of Lions run onto the field, the stadium is full. I spoke to the Georgetown broadcast team, and they his opinion was we got them off balance. The Lions have the Georgetown Eagles off balance. They're not used to being controlled in the way that they've been controlled tonight. And, he said, I won't say any further because it may get back on him, but let's just say they were a little bit surprised at the game, and that this is not the Georgetown team that they're used to. And he was honest, and he said, I really think it's what you're doing to us that have caused us problems. So the Lions need to keep going. The Georgetown Eagles will receive the football to open the second half. They're down by a touchdown currently at 14-7. So the defense needs to get a stop. The last thing you want to do is allow Georgetown to march right down the field, grab momentum in the second half, and hold a 2-score lead. Defensively, what do you come out with? Just your base?
Just the base. I mean, we've proven that we can stop them over and over again. The D-line's playing great right now. Jet, their running back, big guy, he's not really a factor right now too much. I mean, he's out there and he gets about 6-7 yards, but he's not running the tables as we thought he was going to, or as a lot of people thought he was going to.
Right, and the Lions have done a really good job of containing him. I think the guys that have hurt us more than anything on the Georgetown offense are those wideouts, as they've cost us some big plays down the field. So we'll see if the secondary can shore that up. The defense can get a little bit of pressure on the youngster. He has, credit Georgetown's offensive line. As good as the Lion defensive line has played against the run, they haven't had a lot of pressure on the quarterback, McDougal. And so we'll see here if the Lions can get some pressure in the second half on that youngster and cause a mistake. right now the big mistake that's glaring, and it's more of just a good play on Georgetown's part, is that touchback on what could have been a touchdown for Leander, and this game would be tied.
Just like King George said, I'd like to have that one back.
Yeah, exactly. So Rene Rodriguez out to kick off for Leander. Can't really see the numbers to see who's back deep. And it's going to be a shallow kick to one of the upbacks. Going to go to number 9 of the Eagles, and that is Seth Warren. I didn't see who made the stop.
That's
Calvin Kessler on the tackle for Leander.
Kessler.
Kessler with the tackle. Surprise,
Kessler,
surprise, right.
according to the PA, Mark Mahaig, who stepped into that role last year and has done an excellent job. They'll come out in formation, will the Eagles? Walker to the side of McDougal, but he's not close like the typical lineup, and they're going to run a jet sweep to the wideout number 16, and that is Braylon Westfall, and he picks up about 6, maybe make it 7 yards to the 41.
That was a good tackle by Hugo right there. He didn't let go of that pursuit. He was on him, and he stayed on him the whole way down.
Well, it looked like they were going to use Walker as a lead blocker, but Hugo was able to get by that and still make the play. 2nd and 3 now, ball at the 41-yard line of Georgetown. Kind of a tight formation with 2 running backs for McDougal. They'll bring a man in motion, and we have some motion at the line of scrimmage, and then lines are pointing to indicate that it should be a false start. And it will be a false start, and that'll move the line of scrimmage back to the 35-yard, make it the 36-yard line.
Right there.
And so it'll be 2nd down and 8 now for Georgetown. Clock moving at 11:16.
Start Georgetown. Bring up 2nd down and 8.
And that was Xavier Warren, who's been getting a lot of carries from the wide receiver spot. There's 2 wide receivers in the formation for the Eagles. They'll bring Warren in motion, and they're going to hand it to Walker straight ahead, and he's able to get the 1st down and a few yards more as he keeps his feet churning up near midfield. They're going to give him the 49 of Georgetown for a 1st and 10 Eagles. And that's just power football right there. The Lions have got to get through those blocks and try to stop the momentum of the big running back. And it looks like we may have an injury timeout here.
2 of them down. Yeah, that's a big boy right there for sure.
Well, he probably doesn't miss very many meals, I'll say that much.
Corn-fed for sure.
We'll shout out the sponsors here in the second half. The sponsors are Bear Electric LLC and Mercy Veterinary Hospital. Those are the gold sponsors. The silver sponsors are Bill Miller's Barbecue, RDZ Roofing LLC, and Raising Cane's. The bronze sponsors are Golden Chick, Toyota of Cedar Park, TSO of Cedar Park, Whitestone Fine Jewelry, Sisk Rob Incorporated, and J.D. Reisdorf State Farm. The Lion Pride sponsors A Plus Septic, Cleaning and Repair, Grissom Insurance Group, and Black Rock Coffee. The Roll Pride sponsor, MLD Services, and, of course, Blue Bonnet HVAC. And we want to thank all of those sponsors for their contributions to the program. You know, as we talked about, it is a community effort, and it does take sponsors to have an effective football program. 1st and 10 for the Eagles at their own 49-yard line. There's a new running back in for McDougal. I didn't get a number on him, but that's certainly a lot smaller than Walker. That's number 20. That pass intended for number 5, Tyler Glandorf, and that running back is Luke Livingston, a 5'9", 165-pound junior. A little different than 6 foot 208.
Dr.
Right?
Jekyll, Mr. Hyde right there.
Well, you know, it's obvious he's probably very fast.
Yeah.
So, you know, you kind of get a little thunder and lightning in your running back room, you're okay with that. And he'll stay in the game, Will Livingston, right next to McDougal. And they'll fake to him the pass out in the flat, and there is a penalty flag. And that's a poor penalty flag because he still had the football when he was hit. I'm not sure what the penalty will be unless it's It's a difficult call if this goes against Leander. I mean, it is football. There is contact. They're going to say it was a targeting. So it will be roughing the passer against Leander. Hopefully they won't eject him from the game.
That's hard right there because he was in running formation. I mean,
Yeah.
He's the runner.
He was carrying the ball like he was running, and he ran a fake. That is one of the tough things. You know, there's a fine line between safety and the sport itself, the integrity of the sport, and ultimately we've seen in recent years that the sport has changed because of injury. And you want to keep players safe. Don't get me wrong.
In my opinion, that was a clean hit right there.
I thought so. Walker back in the game, runs off right tackle, is going to carry a couple of guys over the 35 to about the 33 for a gain of 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7 for the Eagles, and the Lion defense getting in that area of the field where they really need to stiffen their neck here and try to get a stop. Walker remains the running back for the quarterback, Caleb McDougal. 3 receivers at the top of the formation. A single receiver here on the Lion side of the formation. That receiver is Warren.
Big boy Walker's back in there running back.
2nd and 7. McDougal takes the snap, looking to throw on the right side, intended for number 7. That pass uncatchable, and the receiver went out of bounds as well. That was Xavier Warren, who's had a pretty good game for Georgetown. That'll make it a 3rd down, I believe. Yes, 3rd and 7. Big play here for the Lions to try to get off the field. It's in that area where they may just try to get half of it and go for it on 4th here, but either way, you got 1 or 2 plays to get off the field and try to shift that momentum back to the Lions. Pistol formation, 3 receivers in the formation, tight to the offensive line. Bring Warren in motion, and they'll hand to Walker off the right side. Had a little bit of a hole, and he got the 1st down. Gain of about 9 to the 24-yard line for Walker and the Eagles, and they're getting into that territory where they could come out with points. Lion defense needs a big play here. Maybe a little self-inflicted wound wouldn't hurt. We'll take that as well if it's an offsides penalty or a motion penalty or anything like that. 9:06 and counting. Walker to the left of McDougal. They'll bring Warren in motion, and they'll same play back to Walker, and he's up the seam, and he is tripped up. But he almost took that to the house. He fell around the 7-yard line where it'll be 1st and goal Georgetown, and this is where Georgetown's coming into a fast pace. They already broke the huddle on the line of scrimmage. Walker's still the running back. They'll bring Warren in motion, and they'll hand to Walker same direction, and he walks in, dives over the goal line for a 20-7 Georgetown lead with 8:48 remaining here in the 3rd. And now, of course, that's probably the worst thing that could happen to you coming out of the half is to allow them to march downfield and score a touchdown. But, you know, still plenty of football left to play, and we'll see what the Lions are made of here over the next quarter and a half.
Yeah, their D-line just got gassed. I mean, they're just –
yeah, they
on their heels.
They sped up the pace, and it paid off for the Eagles. Looks like they're going to stay in this weird formation. Walker takes the snap and tries to run straight ahead, and they stop him. So it is a 20-7 score, and that might come back to haunt the Georgetown Eagles as they thought they could get an easy point by running the big jet Walker, but the Lions sniffed it out. You know, when you get in that weird formation, you know, you can throw it over there on like a little swinging gate type play, but ultimately, if you're going to run straight ahead, you only got 3 blockers in front of you. So the Lions took advantage of that and able to get to Walker before he got across the goal line.
They were trying to ride that confidence in the last couple of runs that Mr. Walker had.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't blame them, but that was a good stop by Leander right there. That's going to come back. And
well, it's similar to what Coach Williams said. You know, in situations, you go to your best player sometimes, and he's certainly on that list of their best players. If he's not their best player, he's definitely one of them. And we saw on that drive.
Well, he's definitely built like a creative player on NCAA. Yeah. Junior high school.
He does look a little bit like that, especially at high school. I mean, there's not a lot of guys in the high school level carrying the football at 208-plus pounds. So And when they do, they're kind of like old Frank Rodriguez from the Leander days. There's more touchdowns than yards.
Hey, right. That's what counts, though, the
Yeah,
scores.
that's right. So Christopher coming out to kick for the Eagles. Back deep for the Lions will be Ramos and Zane Wooldridge. We'll see if Wooldridge will get an opportunity for kick return here. We haven't seen him have that chance tonight. Is Georgetown – part of their game plan is to keep the ball away from Zane Wooldridge, especially on special teams, and we're seeing that on their kickoffs.
He's been a little quiet first half. I think it's time to unleash the magic man on him.
The Lions need to be careful about an onside here as Westfall, the up back, is kind of looking like he may try to kick it instead of Christopher. And instead he will not. It's going to go deep. And Ramos will fair catch it inside the 5, and that'll push it out to the 25-yard line for the Lions with no time burning off, still 8:48 on the clock.
Yeah, that decoy out there does a pretty good job at staring at that ball. He just kept staring at it the whole time.
Well, and the last thing you want is to turn your back to get back to block for your kick returner and hear a loud yell from the opponent's side of the field and realize that they kicked an onside. And,
right.
It's an effective strategy to, at the very least, hold the other team a little bit accountable.
Yeah, back in our day, we used to run our kickoffs as if we were going to rush the ball, and then we'd line up.
Right.
And there'd be that one time where we'd catch them off guard because they're like, oh, that's just Leander. They're just going to rush the ball and not do nothing. And we'd catch them off every now and then. Coach Giddey would just be like, go ahead, start the game off like this. All right.
Yeah, you lull them into a sense of, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just, it's all bluster.
In week 6, here you go, surprise.
Yeah. And so the Lions will come out in a pistol formation with 2 wide receivers and 2 tight ends. The running back is Wooldridge, and he runs to the sideline. We have a quick timeout by Leander. Is there a little bit of confusion, and it looked like either the play clock was running down and they did not want to snap the football, or maybe they had too many men on the field, but there was a little bit of confusion. So the Lions will take a timeout with 8.5 minutes remaining here in the third. And we have an update on our crosstown rival Cedar Park and their game against Chaparral. Ben, what's the score?
Yeah, currently Cedar Park is in the lead, 23-6 against Chaparral, currently in the third quarter.
So some other area scores, we have Fredericksburg over Uvalde. Glenn is on top of Eastview, 28-20. That's kind of a surprising score to me. Maybe I was giving Eastview a little more credit than they were due. Then Vista down big to Vandergrift, 31-7, and Cedar Ridge losing to Round Rock by a score of 14-7. More scores in the area. We'll bring them to you as we see them.
The first and 10, Leander from their own 25.
The Lions now coming out for their first possession of the second half. Pistol formation.
There it is. Xavier out, motion.
So Wooldridge out wide now. Mitchell looking to pass, has a little bit of pressure, is able to release it, and Wooldridge, that could have been an interference call. Both players were hand checking one another. Wooldridge had to make a adjustment to try to get that pass as it was a little bit short and inside. Falls incomplete. It's now 2nd and 10. Back in coverage for Georgetown was number 13, Cooper Werchan, and it looks like he may be nicked up. Also over there, J.D. Lindstadler. And so with an injury timeout at 8:13, we'll talk about a little bit more about just homecoming. What do you remember from your homecomings?
Homecoming.
Did y'all have bonfires back in the day like we did?
No, if we had bonfires, we'd go out to Liberty Hill and hang out with them. Westwood, people would have some land out there, and we'd go out there and hang out and party with them.
My senior year, we built a bonfire that was so big that the fire department had to come out and put it out, and they banned bonfires from that point forward.
Yeah.
We ruined it for all the classes coming after us. But it was to the point where the guys stacking pallets up at the top were a good 2 stories off the ground.
Oh man, yeah.
So it was pretty massive.
That's a good size one for sure.
Oh yeah.
Right there.
it rivaled some of those Aggie bonfires, not to bring up a poor event that occurred in the past, but there's a reason why they don't have those big bonfires anymore, and it is dangerous. But we ruined it for the high schools before A&M had their tragedy. 2nd down and 10 with 8:13 remaining. Kamarian Gordon, the running back beside Mitchell. Fake to Gordon and pass up the seam, intended for Wooldridge, but way beyond Wooldridge. In fact, the defensive back, Jaheim Dowd, almost able to get under it as he kind of had a step or two on Wooldridge, which is pretty impressive because Zane Wooldridge is probably, if he's not the fastest guy on the field, he's in the top 2 or 3. He's definitely probably up there at the top with Leander, although there'd be some guys that would argue that, they could run with him, but I don't know. I've seen him run, and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it makes it look easy.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's pushing himself much at all, but he's pulling away from everyone. 4 receivers in the pistol. Gordon, the running back. We got a flag before the play is snapped and another false start penalty, and that's not what you want to see from the Lion offense here on 3rd down and 10. Now 3rd and 15 after the penalty assessment to the 20. 2 shots down the field so far. We could have had an interference penalty, in my opinion, on one of them. The other one just well overthrown by Mitchell. And now behind the chains after the penalty, it's 3rd and 15. It's you're going to have to pull one out here. It's not easy to convert a 3rd and 15, but the Lions can do it. Gordon, the running back. Mitchell drops back. He's got a little bit of pressure. He's able to make a couple of guys miss. He tucks it to run. He's up over the 30 and gets out of bounds at the 31. And there could be a late hit, but no flag comes out as Mitchell is hit out of bounds. It's shy of the line needed for the first down. It's going to make it 4th and 2. Big decision here. You don't really want to give Georgetown a short field, but it looks like the Lions are going to leave the offense out there at least momentarily. And here come the kicking unit as Coach Price was hoping that he would get a late flag on that. There's rules against hitting the quarterback out of bounds. The Lions had a pretty good, what we thought was a tackle, result in a 15-yard penalty, roughing the passer. So back deep to punt, Rene Rodriguez.
Uh-oh.
And we have a penalty flag. Is that against Georgetown? Because that'll be a first down. Coach Price is celebrating as if it is.
I think they jumped as encroachment.
We're going to wait for a second for the call. And they're going to say it's against Leander. It looked like it was a substitution penalty based on the signal from the white hat, and that'll move the line of scrimmage back to the 27, and unfortunately the Lions will need to punt instead. A little bit of celebration on the Lions sideline, so it looked like at least some people felt like it was an offsides on the Eagles. So Rodriguez back in position to punt this football and get the number of the returner. High snap, but Rodriguez able to wrangle it and gets off a nice punt with a fair catch signal at the 33 and executed by number 3 Maddox Borden. And Georgetown will have the football with a 13-point lead, and the Lion defense really needs to get a stop here, maybe even some kind of play where they can get a turnover, basically. But at the very least, they need to stop the forward momentum of this offense, which has played pretty good over the last quarter and a half. And we expected Georgetown to be good, so it wasn't anything less to expect. And next break, we'll get some more score updates for you. Georgetown comes up from the sideline onto the field. Walker, the running back, behind the quarterback, McDougal.
Of course, Shire's back out there now, being bumped up for a little bit.
And they're going to hand to Walker, and he's going to pick up about a yard, maybe 2, and he's driven back by a whole pride of Lions. Leading the way, number 44 for Leander, Virgil Garcia, junior defensive lineman. Kept the gain to a minimum of 2. It's now 2nd down and 8 for the Eagles. Let's see if we can get them going backwards now. Pistol formation, 3 receivers, top of the formation on the wide side. Walker, the running back. Lions showing the blitz. They'll bring 4 guys, and the pass is it is completed, but minimal gain of like maybe a yard. The Lions sniffed that out pretty well.
Tyree Smith right there just blew that whole thing up.
That was Davin Sedgwick, another one of those Division I recruits that the Lions have really contained here tonight, and there is an injury from the Leander side, and it looks like he's going to get up under his own power. That's Virgil Garcia. And the training staff said, lay down, let's make sure you're okay first. You know, football players, they want to jump right back up, right?
Time to play.
Well, you don't want to get called out of the game, right? If you're winning or you're out there playing, regardless, you know if you get hurt, you got to at least come out of play.
Yeah.
Unless the Lions burn a timeout, and I don't think we do that in this situation. It's always that next man up mentality. You just got to be prepared. If you don't get as many reps, well, you're going to have to get those reps somewhere else.
Yeah, Georgetown got away with a block in the back on that one because
that's a couple of them they've had.
Blocked in the back on 44 right there.
That's a couple, and they've been in those screens, those little lateral screens. You know, it's hard for a lineman to get out there and get in front of a fast defensive back or a linebacker.
With control.
Yeah. But the referees, if they don't throw the flag, there's no penalty.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but sometimes that happens.
It would have been nice to see another 10, 15 headed that way.
Yeah. It would be nice to get them backed up. You want to read some scores, Ben?
Yeah. Yeah, currently Glen Grizzlies are only leading by 2 against Eastview. It's 28-26 in the third quarter. They're really coming back, Eastview. Then Cedar Park Timberwolves still even higher, 30-6 against Killeen Chaparral.
So putting the whooping on them at this point, but those are district games, and we'll try to keep you updated. Lions looking to try to get their first district win tonight, but they're going to stop this offense here, and opportunity to get off the field here at 3rd down and about 7 yards to go for the Eagles. See what the Lion defense has dialed up here. Walker, the running back, 3 receivers on the near side of the formation. McDougal backs up, and he drops straight back, and the Lions are able to smother that pass attempt in the flat with really no gain, maybe a half a yard for number 2, Dane Sedgwick. And it's 4th down, and we'll likely see the punting unit come out for Georgetown, and we do. Zane Wooldridge will have an opportunity to return a kick as he comes back here to receive this punt. We'll see if they kick away from him is probably what will happen, because the kicker came out, Braylon Westfall, and then the coach called him back to the sideline, and he probably told him, don't kick it to number 1.
Oh, watch out for that fake again to old Jet Walker.
Well, they got to get 8 yards this time, about 7 yards this time. That's not easy.
Oh, there it is.
And they do kick it to the sideline as they hope for it to bounce out of bounds, and it does around the 29-yard line. So the Lions will have pretty good field position, probably the best field position of the night for them with 7:05 remaining here in the third quarter. We'll see if the offense can get it going here and cut into this 2-score lead.
That was a great stop right there. Where they get like 3 yards right there.
Yeah, they did. They did excellent. And the great thing is you get to go to the sideline and get a little bit of rest, and hopefully your offense will get a drive going and give you even more rest.
Let's go, Lions. Come on now. Who we got out here?
Gordon along with Mitchell, it looks like, but he may turn his jersey and I'll see a 6. We'll see. It is Mitchell, and he hands off to Gordon on the right side behind the right guard, and they're going to gain about 3 yards to the 32. We're going to be 2nd and 7. Lions back up to the line of scrimmage quickly. Same formation. They fake to Gordon this time. It's Mitchell on the keeper to the 40, up over the 40 to the 44 for a Lion first down. Tackle made by number 9, Seth Warren. The Lions have a first down. They're back on the line of scrimmage, putting the pressure on this Georgetown Eagle defense. Hand off to Gordon. Gordon off right tackle, breaks one and can't break the second one. He'll gain about 2 yards to the 46, maybe 47. So he may have gained 3. Looks like he gained 3 before he gets pushed back at 2nd and 7 again. And just like the last set of downs, Gordon for 3, and then we'll see if they fake to Gordon and Mitchell keep it this time, or are they going to Try a little play action. We'll see.
A little play action with Pikes down in a slant. That'd be nice right now.
He's had a big game so far. I'm sure he'd like to erase that one little memory from his memory banks as anyone would. 4 receivers. There's a handoff straight ahead to Gordon. He's kind of picking his way forward. He gains maybe a yard to the 48 as the Georgetown middle of that defense stiffens up, and wasn't much push off the line of scrimmage on that play. So it is 3rd down. This is in the area that the Lions will likely go for it on 4th, so you want to try to get at least half of this. If you can't convert, it's 3rd down and about 6 yards to go.
Montgomery's out there, receiver. Got some tricks.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see him come in motion on one of those jet sweeps.
Right. Double pass.
Mitchell rolls to his left, throws down the sideline, completes it for the first down to Zane Wooldridge at the Georgetown 42-yard line.
It's nice to have a weapon like that on the offense right there.
Boy, I tell you what, and he's had layout for some of those passes, and they've been sure catches for him.
He himself is making it look easy because he's just out there snagging them.
4 receivers in the formation for Mitchell. Gordon, the running back. He's going to keep it. Will Mitchell carry over the 40, lowers his shoulder, runs over a linebacker, number 25. That's Alex Wilson, and he gets a nice gain of 7 yards to the Georgetown 35-yard line. It's now 2nd and 3.
That's some tough running right there by a quarterback.
He's a big kid.
Yeah.
Makes it a little bit easier. I'm sure 25 wasn't expecting the quarterback to be 6'4".
Nah.
There's the handoff to Gordon. Oh, he keeps it in a lateral pass is going to be incomplete as Wooldridge couldn't quite handle it. I like the play design. It just wasn't executed properly there, as it looked like Mitchell ran to the line of scrimmage and tried to flip it out to Wooldridge. But
you don't have too much room when you're running out on the short side of the field either. So, I mean, it was a great play, though.
Yeah. Like I said, I like the design. It just wasn't quite executed to the way that I'm sure that they expected it to be. It's now 3rd down and 3 yards. Ball at the 35 of Georgetown. Looks like we may get a blitz, and it's going to be a handoff to Gordon. He picks up the first down, spins his way inside the 20 to the 18. Good, tough running for Camarion Gordon. And the Lions keep the drive alive, getting that defense some rest and looking to come down here and get some points. Ball now at the 28-yard line of the Georgetown Eagles.
That Gordon's not a big guy, but he runs hard, though.
Yes, he does.
He's good for at least 3 or 4.
4 receivers in the formation for the Lions. Mitchell takes the snap, hands to Gordon again. No, he fakes to him, and a slant goes to Wooldridge for a first down inside the 15 to about the 11, where he's wrangled down. They're going to give him the 12, it looks. Nope, they move it up to the 11. 1st and 10 Lions. They can still get a first down before a score. Hand off to Gordon. He carries the pile down to the 5, and the Lions are wasting no time running plays. They got Georgetown's defense on some skates right now. 2nd and 4 from the 5. Mitchell keeps it and breaks the first tackle and cuts inside on the second. He gets a touchdown, his second of the night. And the Lions cut into the lead. It's now 20-13. Rodriguez coming out to add the extra point, which will cut the lead to 6.
I mean, that's amazing right there. Just the composure they've had coming out, giving up another score to Georgetown, and just coming back and answering. I mean, there's no dead weight on here on the field.
No, they're all playing hard and playing for each other, and that's one of the things we talked about with Coach Williams earlier. Is like it takes every guy. Every guy's got to be committed and putting in the work. So Rodriguez for the point after attempt, see if he can cut it to a 6-point game. Snap, hold, the kick is up, and it is good, and the Lions are within a score at 20-14 with 3:42 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Number 3 looked real good right there. Like my son would say, that's Himothy right there. That's
Himothy.
Himothy.
I like that. I don't remember who says it, but he always says, "Mama, there goes that man."
Right, there goes that man right there.
That's kind of how it was there, and Logan Mitchell really took over on that drive. Him and Camarion Gordon and the offensive line, obviously. You got to give credit where it's due. And then a couple of completions to Zane Wooldridge. to keep them honest, because every team we play is going to be focused on number one.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have to use him as a decoy in certain situations and have success doing it. And we've seen that tonight. The Lions have done that. They were successful against Hendrickson using Zane Wooldridge as a decoy as well.
Yeah, but number 3 definitely showed good composure right there. He reminded me a lot of Drew Dunn back then. I know you heard Coach Williams talk about Drew Dunn when he was a sophomore. I had the pleasure of playing with him when he was a senior and I was a sophomore. And that guy right there, hands down, the best quarterback Leander's ever had.
Real deal.
He has a moxie right there. We're down McNeil, 4 scores in the fourth quarter. Come back, wins the game.
Yeah.
It's just the composure that Drew Dunn has. He's not defeated.
Well,
that's what number 3 showed right now.
And as long as there's time on the clock, you shouldn't feel that way. I mean, unless you're down 7 scores or something, you really should feel like you have an opportunity. And the only thing in your way is that other team. And it looks like Georgetown worried about Leander with an onside here. The play clock down to about 14 seconds. Long look to the sideline, and Coach gives them instruction. They break the huddle. The play clock's down to 5. 4. Rodriguez able to get his foot into it before the play clock ends, and it's a nice boot all the way down into the end zone. The returner comes out, number 3,
right there.
and he'll carry it up to the 25. There is a penalty flag down. As Frank said, he was blocked in the back. That was Maddox Borden, their kick returner. That'll be a half the distance to the goal penalty. It looks like it's somewhere around the 10-yard line, so it should put them back on the 5 instead of out at the 35.
It's always good to see Leander on the field. That goes our way.
And it is a block in the back. And not sure where they're saying it's from. It looks like it may be from the 6, which nope, they're going to set it at the 5-yard line. So they're saying it occurred at the 10. So the Lions with a big opportunity to just really swing the momentum on their side. They just got a touchdown. If they can get a big play here defensively deep near the goal line of Georgetown, watch out.
Just down by 6.
So McDougal with Walker in the backfield, 2 receivers, and a tight end and an H-back on the wide side of the field. They bring Warren in motion. And we have a penalty flag down as Walker is able to get into the secondary. And that's in the area which is usually a hold, right around the line of scrimmage in the center of the field. It doesn't happen that defensive plays occur very much, although sometimes the defensive back will get called for a hold to prevent a lineman from getting to the second level. But Georgetown looks like they understand that that's going to be assessed against them, and it is. So that is a spot foul, so it looks like the ball's going to be half the distance to go from wherever the foul occurred. And it looks like they're going to give them from the line of scrimmage to the 2.5-yard line. 1st and 12.5. Georgetown needs to get to the 15-yard line for a first down. Closer and closer to that goal line, Frank.
Get some pressure on them. Let's go.
Lions got the line of scrimmage stacked up right now.
Oh, no.
And that's another penalty. It looks like against Georgetown as the hometown faithful are getting rowdy over here in Leander. The homecoming crowd letting the Georgetown offense hear about it. The Eagles, of course, pointing the other way, and there's a discussion by the referees. We'll see the signal here from the White Hat. False start against Georgetown, so they'll move it back what's half a 2.5, 1 1/4. So they're going to put the ball just outside the 1-yard line, or right outside the 1-yard line. It is now 1st and 13 1/4 for a first down. Walker and McDougal in the backfield for the Eagles. Looking to pass is McDougal up the left sideline. He's got a receiver with a step, but line defender with him step by step. Was that Ugo? Looks like 18.
Number 12.
Or 16?
Number 12 was
It was Tyree Smith for the Lions then. That receiver, Dane Sedgwick, which
Dangerous.
Yeah, but the Lions have contained him so far, but the Eagles are not going to stop going away from him because he is that dangerous. And it looks like the Lions got a little secondary breakdown over there with 2 receivers on the wide side of the field. Where's the safety? And they do move the safety over to cover the slot receiver. McDougal drops the ball. It's on the ground, recovered by the Lions. Number 55.
Touchdown,
Number 55, Caleb
Lions,
Lemire.
baby.
Caleb Lemire with the recovery
Oh, man.
on the high snap.
Christmas in September right now.
And that is what I was talking about. If they can just get a big play with the Georgetown Eagles against their goal line, the momentum can shift greatly, and that ties the score point after attempt coming up.
Man, it doesn't get no better than that. I mean, you put pressure on them,
And they worry about it. And so even when there's not pressure, the center's worried about getting his block, and then he can't focus on making sure that snap is right.
Sides. I mean, man, that was awesome right there by Leander.
And the Lions not expecting to have to run their extra point team out there, have one guy that wasn't paying attention. And so they get them all set up. There's still 10 seconds on the play clock. Rodriguez for the point after is up.
There you
Tis
go.
good. And the Lions have a lead here in the third quarter. Their second of the evening by a score of 21-20 with 2:55 remaining here in the first period.
That's Friday night football for you right there.
You got to keep your pressure on them, though. You can't let them answer back, because this Georgetown Eagle team is the kind of team that playing or they're accustomed to playing like the Lions are playing right now, which is no holds barred. It doesn't matter. I'm not intimidated. So, and a response is necessary, and they come up with it. And Georgetown, the same kind of program. So, the Lions defense needs to keep that momentum going here. And Georgetown coach not happy with the referees, but I could show him about 3 plays that he got the no calls on. You got an update for us, Ben?
Yeah, right now, Glenn, they're really starting to score again. Currently beating, Eastview to 42-26.
Yeah, they're starting to pull away a little bit.
Yeah. Lake Belton still losing 21-13 to Rouse.
So should be interesting as district play shakes out. If the Lions can get a win here, they've got the inside track early. Lots of looks like a lot of parity, so to speak, in this this district, as the teams appear to be pretty even, at least here early. Rodriguez to kick off. He'll get his toe into it. It's a deep, deep kick. Fielded by Maddox Brandon. He'll carry to the 20, about the 24-yard line. It's Maddox Borden, rather. So they'll have a first down and 10 on their side of the field at around the 23-yard line. It looks like McNeil's beating Stony Point, not in our division or district, but that scored 35-17 in area scores. Last night, Liberty Hill really put a beat down on the Austin Navarro Vikings. Snap fake by McDougal. They're going to flip it out into the flat to the tight end, number 81. And Milok, the tight end, is the one that keeps hitting our guys in the back on those tunnel screens. So
yeah, that's a good hit by Mormon right there, get him out of bounds.
Yeah, I think Mormon was looking to deliver a little bit of punishment on that one.
Payback. He'll be hitting his brothers like that.
And Dripping Springs really beat Aikens down last night, 63-0.
Oh man, that was personal right there.
Second down and 6. They're going to hand to Walker coming to this side of the field, and he's going to carry for a first down over the 35 to about the 37, where he's tackled by Bridwell. But the Eagles will have another first down, and they coming with the pace like the Lions did. Pistol formation, 2 receivers at the top. They're going to hand to Walker again on that right side. He didn't get nearly as much this time, but he's still going to get about 4 yards to the 40.
That's a good tackle by Bridwell right there.
Also in on that stop, number 41, Ugo. 2nd down to 6. The Lions need a negative play here for this Georgetown offense as the scat back comes in, number 21, Abdenur. Maybe it's 27.
It's 20.
It's 20. So that's Livingston.
Get him. Come on. Get too much time.
Pass down the field. It's
Good
way
play.
beyond the reach of the
Oh, they
receiver.
called it too.
That is a terrible call because that pass was
overthrown.
well over his head, but it could be a hold, which is a 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. We'll see what the discussion is, and it may be that they pick that flag up because that pass was uncatchable regardless of what happened. We'll see what the signal is. They're going to call holding. It's a 5-yard penalty. It'll give the Eagles a first down at midfield.
I'm trying to see where that holding was at because I didn't see
It was just a little slight. It didn't affect it, and ultimately the pass was 10 yards beyond him. So,
Yeah. I can see you tugging I'm a little bit on the waistband right there.
yeah, it wasn't much. And like I said, if it's uncatchable, it's uncatchable. But pistol formation for the Eagles, 2 receivers either side of the formation. Livingston, the running back. Lions showing pressure. They're going to hand to Livingston going to the left side. He's going to get tackled from behind after a gain of about 3. He had a pretty good hole, but number 9 for Leander, Matthew Anderson, timed his delayed blitz in such a manner that he was able to drag him down from behind. It's now 2nd down and 7 with about 90 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, I can see Corshaw run that from the backside too. He was in on that play.
The Lions need to get a little bit tougher at the point of attack as well as pursue from that backside. Tight formation with 2 running backs for McDougal. They're going to hand to Walker. No, it's a keeper by McDougal. He fooled me, and he slides down around the 43-yard line, shy of the line needed for a first down. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 4 yards to go.
We got quads to the left.
Yeah, this is that tunnel screen formation. We'll see if the Lions can we have a penalty flag down. It was either a timeout or
False start.
and that should back it up a little bit. If it is a false start, so that'll move them back 5 yards. So instead of 3rd and 4, it's going to be 3rd and 9.
Go.
Ball at the line, 49-yard line. And I think Georgetown probably changed that play now from the quads, and it does look like they come out in a standard pistol with 2 receivers on either side of the offensive line. Walker, the running back, just to the left of McDougal. There's the snap. McDougal looking to his right. Pass is complete to number 7. You got to make that tackle. He's able to show his speed. And, wow, number 7, Xavier Warren, the 6'1", 175-pound junior, goes in untouched on the line sideline to give the Eagles a lead. Score 26-21. I would expect Georgetown to go for 2 here. They do bring out the kicking unit, but we've seen them line up in that swinging gate style formation. It's kind of a broken formation, and there's a timeout, Georgetown, with 1 minute on the clock here in the 3rd, and the Lions just got to shake that off, right? You guys got to.
I mean, 3rd and 9, just what happens.
Yeah, they gave him a little bit too much of a cushion. Obviously you could tell that Xavier Warren might be one of the guys that could outrun Zane Wooldridge on the field because once he turned it on, they weren't going to catch him.
No.
And, that's kind of what we expected from this offense. More big plays like that because of all of the speed and talent they have. But the Lion defense has been able to contain them. Great game plan by the coaching staff as well as execution by the players. We'll see if they can get that momentum back, wrestle it back. You start right here stopping this 2-point conversion because then it's just a 5-point game. You drive down, you get a touchdown, you're ahead. And it should be a very entertaining 4th quarter.
Oh, yeah, for sure. just love how Leander's running still strong right now.
Yeah, they're certainly not intimidating. It's a 2-point conversion, and it looks like they're going to at least initially start out in the attempt.
Watch the fade.
Nope,
right?
nope, they're in a pistol. That's McDougal out there and Walker. They're just in a standard formation to go for 2 here.
Oh,
And it's a direct snap to
Get 'em,
Walker.
get 'em.
And he's going to outrun everybody to the corner, and now it's a 7-point lead. The Eagles able to convert. It's 28-21 with a minute remaining in the third. And you know what? If you'd have told me on Tuesday night at Guaco Taco, we're going in with a minute into the fourth quarter, we're down a touchdown, I would have told you I'll take that.
Yeah.
Because the effort, and I know this is a good program the Lions are playing tonight, and it looks like they may be able to pull this out, but it's not going to be given to them. The Georgetown Eagles are not a team that's just going to let you beat them. You got to earn it.
Yeah. So they gave us that touchdown. We were fortunate to get that touchdown in the end zone after they took one away from us in our end zone over here. So
yeah, that's really the difference in the ball game. The Lions could still be ahead had that touchback not occurred. But again, you just got to credit the Eagle defense there on not giving up on that play and able to poke it out. That's one of the rules in football that I've always thought was a little bit weird, but it is a rule. It's been a rule since I've known about football. So you can't go into the end zone and fumble into the end zone. I think when I was a kid, the Raiders somehow scored a touchdown in the playoffs to win a game like that, and they said you can't do that anymore. They recovered it in the end zone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And they progressed the ball off a fumble?
Yeah,
And they covered it in the end
and
zone?
it was in the 70s, and then
okay.
the NFL made a rule that you can't fumble forward. Where if you recover it, it goes back to the point of the fumble.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense now.
Ramos on the return.
There you
He's
go. Good momentum. Keep
at
going.
30,
Go. Get.
35. He's going to get out of bounds at the 40.
Man, he's pretty fast.
Yeah, and that's why he's back there. Actually, that was Chris Tracy, nope, check that. That's number 10. That's Isaac Montgomery, the sophomore.
Oh, man, that boy got some burners on him.
Yeah, he does, and he's a dunker, too, in basketball. He's real good down at the post. He's about 6'4",
Sophomore,
6'5".
you said too?
He's a sophomore. He was a freshman on the basketball varsity last year.
Man, he keep it up. He's going to be a freak on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well,
Vernon Davis.
He's still got room to grow.
Yeah.
My brother grew 6 inches after high school, so
Oh, wow. Yeah.
it can happen.
Just one summer.
So pistol formation for the Lions. Gordon, the running back. They're going to hand to him straight up the middle. He's in the open. He's
There
at the
you go.
45-40,
Big Suey.
35-30, 20-15, and they'll get him out of bounds at around the 10-yard line. And the Lions with a quick answer on a long run right up the gut behind Casimir,
Right.
the Lions center. Big hole there in the middle. Great run by Gordon.
Right. Georgetown goes down there and scores. What are you going to do? Well, you're about to find out.
Lions back up on the line of scrimmage in the pistol. 4 receivers. They're going to hand to Gordon again. No, Mitchell keeps it. They keep faking me out on that little read, and he'll carry it down to the 5 for a gain of about 7 yards. It'll be second down. They're going to say the 6 yards, so it's going to be second down and about 4 yards. The Lions can get to the 2-yard line and gain a first down, or they're going to have to punch it in either way, second down. Lions taking a little bit more time here after that play call to get the play called in. Coach Bailey, the offensive coordinator for the Lions. Daniel Lopez's defense has been playing pretty good tonight as well. And special teams under Coach McLean, very effective. And so we're going to have a timeout, or that's the end of the quarter. So with 12 minutes remaining, the Lions trail by a touchdown, but they're knocking on the door. It's a second down and 4. Ball will be at the 6. Ben, you got some updates?
Yeah. Cedar Park's still in the lead against Killian Chaparral Bobcats, 37-6 in the third quarter right now. And Glen Grizzlies still high up against Georgetown Eastview. It's
Looks like Eastview's rallying, though, huh?
Yeah, 42-32. They're still coming back, but
Yeah, 10 points in the third quarter. It's something you can overcome, but, yeah, not where you want to be. What else do we got here in the area? Vandegrift, 31-7 over Vista at half. That Lake Travis and Bowie game, what's that score there? Lake Travis and Bowie. Boy, Lake Travis really putting it on the Bowie Bulldogs, 34-6. And then Grizzlies. Oh,
Ooh, College Station.
Lehman getting waylaid by College Station, 59-0.
In the third quarter, too. Wow.
So we got second down and 4 here. Mitchell hands off to Gordon, and not much there as he gets stuffed by that Georgetown center of the defensive line. It's going to bring up a third down now. The Lions need to get it in the end zone here, or at the very least get it down to the 2. They got about 4 yards that they need to navigate here for a first down. Clock moving at 11:36. Play clock at 18 seconds as the Lions break the huddle. Gordon, the running back, to the right of Logan Mitchell. He has 3 receivers to the wide side of the formation. They try to get it to Wooldridge, and there's a penalty flag down. That could be a benefit to Leander. It looks like it may be a hold against the secondary as they saw Wooldridge run to that corner of the end zone and reached out and grabbed him, maybe, unless it's an offensive lineman that was holding. Oh, he's saying an illegal shift, so that's a pre-snap foul, so the Lions will still have a third down. You can't decline a pre-snap foul.
Yeah, I don't think Zane understood what he was doing on that one because he went out and started blocking, and they were looking for him on the out route.
Well, Georgetown's saying they're declining it, so maybe
you can decline pre-snap.
I didn't know. Well, maybe I read the signal wrong, but it's now fourth down for Leander, and they'll bring out the kicking unit to get points on this. It'll cut the lead to 28-24 if Rodriguez can boot it through. Lion holder, number 84, Aiden Stericker.
So chip shot for Rodriguez right there.
This is like an extra point. Snap, the hold, the kick is up, and it is good. And it is now 28-24 as the Lions cut into the Georgetown lead, but still down by 4 as we head into the middle part of the fourth quarter. And, I thought that meant that it was an illegal shift, but I guess there must have been some other signal. I'll have to get my new old list of signals out.
Right.
It's a little frustrating because the false start and illegal shifts, and they look very similar, the signals. In fact, they look the same to me. And without the microphone working on the referee, then it makes it even more difficult to figure out exactly what the call is. So the Lions will come out to kick from the sideline.
I couldn't even get the read on that one. I ran it back, and they'll tell him what that signal was. I think as long as he knew what it was, that's all that mattered.
Back deep, we got number 7, River Hahn. Oh, no, wait, wrong roster. Xavier Warren, he had a big play earlier for a touchdown. Also back deep is Maddox Borden. So they got a couple of good returners themselves. Kind of a long pause at the huddle, waiting for the play clock to be whistled, and there it goes. Rodriguez, he can place it too. He doesn't have to kick it, fully all the way back into the end zone. Sometimes he'll kick it short, and it could be recovered. Instead, he boots it, and it's going to get out of the end zone. That's an excellent kick by Mr. Rodriguez as he prevents any attempt at a return by the 2 fast kick returners. So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line, or 25-yard line, rather, for the Georgetown Eagles.
You got to think Georgetown's just going to unleash their beast and just try to just run the clock out right now. So.
Well, they got a lead. If they can manage to put together a significantly lengthy drive, then you're right. It's not a bad strategy, but the line defense has played well tonight. You almost hope they do it, and the Lions just stuff it. They're going to run a jet sweep, and there's some good blocking and a nice gain of about 12 yards for Braylon Westfall. He runs out of bounds after picking up the first down at the 37-yard line of Georgetown. Quads at the top of the formation, and a quick snap by the Eagles. McDougal's getting pressured. He'll just flip it out of bounds for an incompletion. It's now 2nd and 10 with 11 minutes remaining in the ball game, and that is a pretty smart play for a sophomore quarterback. Lions, it took him a little while to get some pressure on him. Finally, number 77, Javier Gonzalez, broke loose and forced him to scramble and toss it out of bounds.
Yeah, that's pretty good for number 2 for Leander to be out there on that big boy out there in quads, top of the quads.
Yeah, that's the first time they didn't run a tunnel screen out of that formation.
Snipped it out.
2nd down and 10. They'll bring a man in motion. They'll handle Walker going right. He's got a head of steam. He's up about 15-yard gain into line territory. They're going to mark him at the 45-yard line, 1st and 10 Georgetown. The Lions are going to have to figure out a way to slow this offense down to try to get the ball back or force a field goal attempt at some point. We've got an injury over, it's a line player, but over on the Georgetown sideline. So we'll take a short pause from the action at about 10:50 remaining in the ball game. And it looks like the scoreboard went out entirely here at the stadium, then it came back up. McNeil all over Stony Point, 56-30. Lake Belton and Rouse still 21-13. Rouse. Cedar Park looks like they're going to come out with a win from their trip to Killeen to face the Bobcats of Chaparral. And then right now that Glen Grizzly Eastview game is still a 10-point game. College Station now up 66-0 over Lehman. College Station was in the state championship game last year. They did lose that game, but they were in that. They had to play like Duncanville or somebody really good. So we're going to hope that, and it looks like he's okay, getting up under his own power, making his way off the field. It looks like Big 72, Tavin Rivera, and it'll be 1st down and 10 after he is able to get off the gridiron with 10:50 remaining.
Virginia Tech 27, Miami 24.
Well, they just announced that the Virginia Tech Hokies, who'd they say? Who'd say they were? Miami 28-24. That's a big ACC matchup. Miami highly touted after a couple of big wins early this season. Longhorns, they play Mississippi State tomorrow at 3. If you're fortunate enough to have tickets to Darrell K. Royal, you can drop them off at my mailbox.
Right, first year SEC football. Right.
First SEC game.
Right.
Mississippi State's come here and beat us before, so we're going to have to be ready for them. It's not going to be this year, but they've done it. That's a handoff to Livingston, and he's able to turn up behind the center. We're going to have a flag thrown, and that's likely a hold based on where it occurred. And that'll be beneficial because that's a pretty good gain there by Livingston.
Carried by Luke Livingston for Georgetown.
Another line down with a nick. We've seen a little bit of cramping going on here tonight, and it has been hot this week. You know, we kind of got teased and told that it was going to be cooler this week, but they fibbed, and it never really got that cold. Juan's shaking his head. He's like, not from my forecast.
Yeah, it's back to 90s next week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
Back to summer.
It's always, the Halloween weekend when it drops significantly when the kids are wearing the really thin costumes and stuff. So you got to put a coat on underneath it. You don't quite look like Spider-Man if you got a winter coat on over it or under it.
Right.
Ball at midfield now after the assessment of the penalty. It's going to be first down and 14. The Eagles got to get to the line 36 for a first down. They're in a pistol formation with Livingston to the left of McDougal. Two receivers on the top and bottom of the formation. They bring the tight end up close, tight to the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be a handoff to Livingston, and he'll spin his way close to the original line of scrimmage. He's about a yard shy. So it's going to be second down and 11.
And Liam Walters was all over that one right there.
Yeah, it's good pursuit. Livingston's a slippery running back.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's certainly a different style than what we've seen from Walker, but, you know, he's got good speed, and, you know, you don't have to be real big if you keep them legs
Oh,
churning, because how often do you get a form tackle that's just perfect? It's rare, right?
Right, yeah. You're reaching a bunch of arms, and that's it.
Right, Walker in the backfield now. Two receivers. Top and bottom of the formation. They'll send a guy in motion. McDougal sacked. Big play from the backside. Number 11, Derek Pites. Garrett Pites. I keep calling him Derek. That's his dad's name. It's Garrett Pites. Sorry, Garrett.
That's all you, buddy.
And that was a huge play.
Exactly what Leander needed right there.
It is now third down and 18.
And long. There you go, big boy.
And Georgetown trying to figure out if they got an 18-yard play in their playbook.
He just whooped off 71 around that edge, and he just couldn't stop him. I mean,
yeah, and McDougal did not sense him at all.
His spidey senses were off on that one.
So Walker, the running back, two receivers on the short side of the formation. They're going to call a timeout, or it's a delay of game, one or the other. They're going to say a timeout, Georgetown. So they got a timeout in right before the play clock expired to prevent going back an additional 5 yards. We got 9 minutes, 11 seconds on the clock. Lions trailing by 4 against what many consider the early favorite to win this district.
That's so good to see.
LBJ beating Cornerstone 25-21 in the fourth. McNeil really putting it on Stony Point, 56-30. That's a shootout. That's 86 points in that ball game. Glenn, 42-39. Eastview with a huge rally. Oh, my. Maybe Eastview's as good as I thought they were, and they just had a tough first half because they've rallied significantly. And it looks like Burnett's going to take out Gatesville. Right now that score 17-7. Cedar Park running away with it, and Killeen 37-6. Third down and significant. Walker, the running back, they'll move him out of the backfield. McDougal drops straight back, looking down the right seam. He has a man open, and he dropped it. That pass was in his hands, and that would have been a first down. And that's Xavier Warren, who we saw scooting up the sideline with all of that speed.
Yeah.
And, you know, you think back to early in the game when the defensive back, Malachi Filan for Leander, had an opportunity at an interception. You got to catch it first, right? Yeah. And I think that's kind of the situation that was going on with number 7 there, Xavier Warren, is he was planning on running with it. You got to catch it first.
Got ahead of himself. That's a good stop right there by Leander. Let's see if they – and, yeah, they'll punt it.
Christopher punting with a nice punt. It's going to roll out of bounds around the 13 or 14-yard line where the Lions with 9 minutes. I mean, you can't really ask for much more than this to be within 4 points against, like I said, at least in my opinion, one of the early favorites for the district title and a chance to beat them here in the fourth. Because ultimately, as good a teams as you play, if you give your chance to win late, that's really all you can ask for.
Yeah, it's Friday night, Leander, and it's going down over here at ABC.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to sleep if we pull this out. I'm telling you what,
right.
I always have a tough time after, you know, any game, but ultimately, if you win, man, I'm going to be at home just.
They'll all be at Whataburger. That's how it was.
Yeah.
You win the game, you go there to Whataburger after the game. We're all eating.
Well, it might be IHOP these days. They didn't have an IHOP back when you were in school.
We had the Whataburger. We're making train money. Everyone's having a great time.
That handoff straight ahead to Gordon.
There you go.
He's going to get a couple of yards up to the 15.
2-yard gain.
2nd and 8.
Second down.
The Lions are going to keep them honest. They're not going to get away from that center run game. They're up behind the guards in the center. They'll break the huddle. 2nd down and 8. Mitchell and Gordon, 4 receivers. Mitchell, plenty of time. Looks, throws up the right sideline. Has 2 receivers there. What a catch. What a catch.
Man,
Number 6,
quarterback.
Mason Montgomery climbed the ladder and took that down for the score.
Man.
And the Lions, I said the score, the first down. We're at midfield. I'm excited.
Hey, that was exciting right there.
Yeah. 28-24 is a quick snap. Gordon
go.
up the right side. He's over the 40, breaks the tackle, 35-30, and he'll be out of bounds at the 25. Another first down for Leander, and the offense is churning for the Lions, and they're wasting no time. This strategy about getting to the line of scrimmage quickly and running another play has been very effective for Leander tonight. Gordon and Mitchell. There's the snap. Hand off to Gordon again up the middle. He breaks a few tackles, gets about 8 yards up to the make it 9, and there are a couple of flags come in late. Ball all the way up to the 17. You gotta keep your emotions in check, and it's not easy here on the football field. It looks like a line is coming off, and there were 2 flags. I don't know if they're for the same infraction, and that is Gordon, so the Lions will have to go to a backup here at running back.
No, he back in there. Oh.
He just walked off the field.
There he is.
It's a face mask against Georgetown, so that will be tacked on to the end of the run.
Georgetown.
And who's come in at running back? Oh, is it Gordon?
Yeah, Gordon.
So there was somebody else who was injured then. Sorry, Mrs. Gordon, if you're listening. I didn't mean to give you a little
Hey, your boy's running good.
heart skip.
Yeah.
You never want to hear that your kid's down, but whoever it was able to walk off the field. I'm going to assume it was
He's down to run the ball.
Ramos. Yeah, he's ready to get another one. He's feeling
There you
it.
go.
Straight ahead up to the 5. Make it the 6.
Well,
He
them
didn't
feet-
quite reach
hey,
the
them feet are
5.
still churning, though. He's upside down. Them feet are still moving.
He's feeling it.
Yeah. Give it to him again.
So it looks like that tackle was made by Max Gates. So it is now 2nd down and goal. The ball is at the 6-yard line. You can't kick another field goal here. You got to get a touchdown. I mean, there's time, but you don't want to risk it.
Then maybe it's time for the quarterback to
We got a quick penalty as one of the line receivers. Looks like that was Zane Wooldridge who got a little ahead of the snap count. That's one of those you just really itching to run that route. And, in this situation, if it's a pass on this down, that's not the worst penalty in the world because it gives you a little bit of room to run your route. And we know Mitchell can fit it into some pretty tight windows, and he'll come to the sideline with a call from Coach Ryan Bailey. Trips at the top of the formation that includes Pites and Zane Wooldridge. Gordon in the backfield. They fake to Gordon. Mitchell fakes out the tackler, and he breaks a couple of tackles. Stiff arm. He's at the 5. He lunges in for the score. He goes in untouched practically. They were just falling beside him right and left, and wow. Logan Mitchell with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the evening with 6:51 remaining gives the Lions their 3rd lead of the game. It is now 30-28.
Man, he put the whole team on his back on that play right there.
He did. He broke a couple of tackles near the line of scrimmage, and then just the moves. Guys were just falling around him like incredible.
Back there, the pocket collapsed on him. He went out, put a little move on somebody, another move.
Rodriguez adds the extra point to ensure a 3-point lead. So Georgetown can tie it with a field goal, 6:51. Will the defense come up big this next series? The kicking team already out on the field for Leander.
They don't get no better than that.
Ben, you got some updates for us, or are the scores about the same?
Looks like they're about the same here.
Looks like there was another touchdown in that Timberwolves game.
Oh, yeah. 44-12 now against the Killian Chaparral Bobcats.
What else we got there? We got, that's a 3-point game there at Birkelbach in Georgetown.
Yeah, Glenn. Still, it's 42-39 now. One field goal away from Georgetown Eastview coming back.
That might go into overtime. This one might go into overtime as well as the Lions grab a 3-point lead here with 6:51.
Hey, the way that defense is right now, we just need to shut them out and run the ball right back down to the throw.
That's right. Just keep the pressure up on the defensive front. You know they're going to probably still run the ball with about almost 7 minutes left.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
a lot of times teams will get away from the run when they're down late. Right now there's still enough time that they'll probably still feed old Jet Walker. Rodriguez kick is out of the end zone for a touchback, and so the Eagles will have it on the 25-yard line here late in the fourth quarter, about halfway through the fourth quarter. Big night here on homecoming. Impressing the class of 04 who played in the 03 season. And probably Coach Williams as well, who, we want to thank him once again for being kind enough to come out and talk to us about some of the history of this football program at Leander. McDougal with Walker in the backfield. Stays. It's intercepted by the Lions at the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown number 8. For Leander, yes. Tyler Moorman, hey. He turned around and that football hit him in the hands.
Sign, seal, deliver.
And that is huge for the Lions as it gives them a 37-28 lead with a point after pending. 6:37 on the clock. Wow.
It's Friday night Leander, baby.
That is how you really solidify the momentum right there. The Lions looking to push it out to a 10-point game. Rodriguez out to kick. Steriker, the holder, for Leander. Snap, hold, kick is up. Rodriguez able to get it through for a 10-point line lead, 38-28 with 6:37 remaining. Hey, let's do it again. Hey, get that defense out there and get a stop.
Let's go. That's how you start district play. Let's go. Leander's looking great.
Hey, everybody's going to overlook Leander.
Oh, yeah.
And although after tonight they may not as easily, but the players will. The coaches won't. The Georgetown coaches probably didn't, but – they probably didn't get the message across well enough that this is not a team to joke with. This is a good team.
Hungry Lions.
That's right.
And not just one player, not just number 3, but, he's doing a good job leading, but everybody's playing collectively tonight.
Hey, the Lions can play like this. Like I said, this is a team. This Georgetown team is a ranked team. It's a team that has been in the playoffs very consistently. If the Lions can come out and take this game, that really is that's a corner is being turned in this program.
Yeah, and that coaching, that defensive mentality, that was awesome right there. That was a good stop.
Got an update for us, Ben?
Yeah, Lake Belton versus Rouse. Final score 28-20. Rouse with the win.
So Rouse could be up top of whoever wins this game, 1-0. Now in district play.
Oh, yeah. Final 2, Vandegrift beat Vista Ridge 38-7.
Yeah, that Vandegrift team is a pretty good team. They'll be a 6A playoff contender and likely to win at least a couple of rounds. They went to the quarterfinals just a few years ago. They did Vandergrift. Nice boot there on the kickoff by Rodriguez. It is Fielden decided to bring it out. He's at the 10, 15. He spins. He's at the 20 still as he runs laterally, and the Lions chase him out of bounds at around the 27-yard line. Good speed there. That's, again, number 7, Xavier Warren. We saw him just burn up the sideline earlier that gave Georgetown a lead, but since then it's been all Leander.
We're fortunate for those drops that he had, though, because if he gets it, he's gone.
Well, you know, we had our mistakes. They've had their mistakes. But ultimately right now the Lions on top by 10, 6.5 minutes to go. All I had to do was get Frank up in the booth, and that was the good luck charm.
It's the city.
It is. It's the community. And so it is Walker in the backfield with McDougal. 3 receivers here on the narrow side of the formation. Big hole in the middle, and Walker runs over one line before he picks up he finally gets tackled after a gain of about 13, and that was kind of a little deceptive formation as they stacked up this short side of the field and then ran the big fella on the wide side. You know, it's one way to get him in the open is to force you to put all of your secondary guys on the short side. 1st and 10, pistol formation. They'll bring a man in motion. They're going to hand to Walker again, this time coming to the short side. And he's forced out of bounds around midfield. Number 24 there to make the initial contact, Nicholas Winton. And then it looks like number 5 cleaned it up, Calvin Kessler. So gain of 8. They're going to give him the 49-yard line of Georgetown. 2nd and 2.
Have to watch that play action to number
We
7.
are under 6 minutes now. The clock stopped because he went out of bounds. McDougal tries to hit a slant, and it's dropped. Good coverage out there by Leander. That, again, intended for number 7, Xavier Warren. He's dropped a couple.
That was good on Anderson out there. He was on a blitz right there, so he got some pressure to the quarterback.
They're trying to get him. They're trying to get a step on him on that slant, because if he gets up that seam with a step, you're not going to catch him, and that's what they wanted. Clock now at 5:49. We'll get you some more score updates here in the next break.
Got 2 number 7 stacked on one side.
Yeah, they got a tight formation, 2 receivers at the top.
Oh, direct snap to big
Direct
boy.
snap to Walker. He's cut down, but he'll pick up a first down into line territory at the 46.
That's right.
That'll stop the clock briefly to set the chains. And the clock now moving at 5:42 and counting.
Time waits for no man.
That's
they keep
right.
running all they want, but unfortunately that clock is running out. That sand's almost gone.
Well, I don't know how many timeouts they have because of the scoreboard, but Walker remains the running back. A lot of space here on the left side of the formation. McDougal fakes to Walker, drops back, rolls to his right. He's getting pressured, has to throw it away. And he's lucky. Well, he was outside the pocket, but he got it up to the line of scrimmage. I was going to say he's lucky he got it to the line of scrimmage. Good pressure there by number 8, Tyler Mormon, the recipient of that interception, that pick 6 that we saw moments ago.
Which is good because Pikes is down there. Just the big old animal, 71, has to hold on to him. 8 comes right behind him. And
71 looks like he's pretty well fed.
Yeah, Pikes is over there whooping up on him, though.
He's not on our
Mr.
roster
Football.
as 71 at least. 2 receivers again, the top of the formation. This time 2 running backs. 2nd down and 10. Clock stopped at 5:16. And no play clock ever went, and so the referees are going to stop time. There's delay a game is what it was. They just reset automatically to 25, so that's a 5-yard penalty. It'll be 2nd down and 15 now. The ball will be moved back to the 49 unless there was a timeout called on the sideline, and that may be the discussion. Now they're going to move the ball back to the 49.
That's that homecoming noise coming for them.
And, you know, this is another thing that you notice when the lines are good, the crowd doesn't thin out as the game wears on. In fact, I think more people have shown up.
Right.
Pistol formation, 2 receivers either side of the formation. Walker behind McDougal. There's a penalty flag, and it is a false start as the White Hat throws the flag out quickly. And those are the kind of penalties you can ill afford if you're the Georgetown Eagles, and that the Leander faithful will definitely love.
That was old Jet Walker right there. He couldn't hold his water. He was waiting to run downhill. But
That and, you know, think about it. That crowd is affecting that Georgetown offense, their ability to communicate. And, you know, the Aggies made it famous. And I'm not going to try to steal their logo or anything, but
extra man.
Right, it's just like that.
Extra noise.
Right. So we got twins on either side of the formation. Walker to the left of McDougal, and he'll move him in motion to the right. Pass on the backside.
Hold on to him.
Quick
Hold on.
tackle. That was completed to Sedgwick, but number 24, Nicholas Winton, there quickly to wrap him up for no gain. In fact, he may have lost a yard. It is now 3rd and very long, and the clock moving with 4:55 and counting.
From the Georgetown 44.
Georgetown looking for something here out of their playbook. They got every card with every NFL team logo on it on their sideline showing McDougal. It's got to be confusing. 3 receivers on the wide side of the formation, 2 here on the narrow side in the empty set. They'll bring a man in motion. They're going to have so many guys, and there's a penalty flag likely against Leander because they don't stop the action. Pass down the sideline is complete. And got a free play on that offsides, it looks like. And that is the indication. So it will be a first down for Georgetown in Lion territory at the 23 with 4 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock as he goes out of bounds with that reception to stop the clock. Still, you know, that pick 6 is looming large for Leander and against Georgetown. The Lions just need to, you know, make it as difficult as possible for them to penetrate the goal line and eat as much clock as they can. Pistol formation, 3 receivers here on the wide side. McDougal takes the snap. He's going to hand to Livingston on the right side, and he'll pick up about 10 yards and a late flag. That could be a hold. It's in that same kind of area that we saw earlier. We'll see what the White had. He's the one that threw the flag, so he doesn't need – and then another late flag comes in. I hope that's not against the Lions because one of the Lion players was talking to a referee. It looks like that might have been Matthew Anderson who's discussing it – or no, Calvin Kessler over there, number 5.
Their running back for Georgetown, Jet Walker, is out. On that last play, that long pass over there, he went and demolished the linebacker, which you're not supposed to do when you're a receiver.
Right.
We ended up getting hurt. He's over on the sideline getting his arm checked out right now.
Ooh.
I think it landed on his shoulder wrong. He's over on the right side.
Yeah, you don't block until the pass is complete because
so
it can be
they got away with that one. Yeah.
An offensive interference call, but there are flags down. Let's see what the call is. It is a hold against Georgetown and a personal foul against Leander, and that'll offset the penalties, and we'll replay the down with 4:14. Again, the line of scrimmage, the 23 of Leander.
Here's that play I was telling you about right
And
here.
we've lost the main camera. Battery went dead, I bet. Put it on this camera.
Ball incomplete, intended for number 85.
Do we get that pass incomplete?
Hey, put it on camera too. Is it back? Look at 1.
We get second down.
Okay, Frank.
That brings up second down for Georgetown.
Take over, Frank. I'm going to do this camera until we get 1 back.
Georgetown was lucky to get that pass off right there. They were pressured by the Lions.
Because he's going to have to change that battery.
Now we got 2nd and 10 for Georgetown. In shotgun, handoff to number 20. He's off to the right where he's met by a bunch of Lions, out for no gain, maybe 1 yard on the play.
Check one. Luke Livingston on the carry.
Good stop by the Leander defense right there. They're not giving this up.
Forced out by Liam Walters.
So now we got a 3rd and 10 for Georgetown. Number 28 is back in the game. He's over shaking his chicken wing around, but he's back in the game.
One. Check camera one.
From the 23-yard
Before
line
the
for
action
Georgetown.
starts. Still not back?
Not back.
Leander Lions defense
Between
chomping
plays,
at the
check
bit to
it.
get the ball back. McDougal in the backfield. Keeps the ball. Reverse to number 7. Where he's got a escort of linemen. Where he stopped for a 9-yard gain.
On the carry.
Brings up 4th and 1 for Georgetown.
4th down and 1.
Is it back up?
It's back up.
4th down and 1 for Georgetown. McDougal in the backfield along with Walker.
Sorry about that. We had to get a battery in place on the
Direct
main
snap to
camera.
Walker.
That's where he's tough sledding there in the
Yeah.
middle between the tackles. But still 3 minutes and 14 seconds remaining. Looks like the camera back out, so we'll head back to the other camera. Frank, do play-by-play if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. Georgetown with the touchdown right there. Now number 34 to kick the field goal. The extra point, Mr. Ving Duong. The snap's off, the hold is, and the kick is good.
The Maxford kick is good. With 3 minutes and 14 seconds remaining. Scores Georgetown 35, Leander 38.
So Leander 38 and Georgetown 35. So you guys think there's going to be an onside kick here? Because the way the Leander's offense has been running, I don't think Georgetown can stop it. So I think what's simple for them is to do onside kick, which I'm sure we're ready for it.
Okay. So we'll just stay there and kind of manage it in case it goes down again. Thank you. So we don't want to miss the end of the game. And, these batteries used to last the entire game. This is a little bit longer than a typical game. We're at 3 hours right now. But maybe time to invest in newer batteries. Because I know they're not going to last through baseball season. Those games can be like 3.5 hours, 4 hours long. So the Eagles will likely kick an onside here. I would expect the Lions to bring the team, the hands team in. Look at that mum.
That's a big old
That's
mum
the
right
biggest
there.
mum I think I've ever
That's
seen.
like a $400 mum right there.
Okay, so Georgetown ready to kick off here at homecoming. Lions holding on to a 3-point lead, 38-35. Christopher to do the kickoff, and we'll see if they use that up back to try an onside. And it does look like they're going to try that. It does not go 10 yards, so stay away from it. It will be Leander football. Garrett Pites was right there, and he was able to refrain, and Coach King or Coach Bailey's letting him know about it. Don't even get close to that ball.
Snake. Get
That's
away.
right. That's one you don't want to get near. So it'll be Lion football with 3:14.
Georgetown got any timeouts left? I think they used about 2 of them already.
I don't. If they do, it's only one, and you can ill afford to give them the ball back, in my opinion. You just want to convert at least one first down in this series, and I think you'll be okay.
Let's just score. Call it done.
Gordon, the running back, with Mitchell, the quarterback. 2 receivers either side of the formation. There's a handoff straight ahead to Gordon, and not much there as he kind of lunges towards the 46-yard line, a gain of 1. clock moving, and Georgetown not calling a timeout, which leads me to believe that they are out of them. But again, the scoreboard indicators aren't working tonight, and so I didn't keep track, and so that's kind of my fault. Even though the stadium is not working, I mean, you get to where you rely on technology, and then it's time that the technology doesn't work, and then you're.
Hey, what do?
Yeah, exactly. So Gordon, the running back, 2 receivers either side of the formation for Mitchell. He'll take the snap, hand off straight ahead to Gordon. He breaks the tackle, lowers his shoulder, and he'll get about 4 yards to the 42. The clock's still burning. 2:20 and counting here as we near the end of the ball game. The Lions holding on. Then there is a timeout. It looks like Georgetown had at least one as they burned it here with 2:18 on the clock. I'll take a quick moment here. So with 2:18, the team's in a timeout called by Georgetown. Again, a 3-point lead for the Lions. Updates and some scores. Timberwolves won 44-12. I think Eastview came back and beat, who were they playing?
I think they're playing Glenn.
Oh, yeah, they came back and beat Glenn, or came back and took the
They were in the
lead from
fourth.
Glenn. So it was 42-39, I think was the last thing I saw. So the Lions come out of the timeout onto the line of scrimmage and in formation with Gordon, the running back, to the left of Logan Mitchell. 2 receivers on the wide side, 2 on the short side of the formation. Yeah, it's 46-42 Eastview over Glenn right now in the fourth quarter. Their game exciting like this one. It's going to be a roller coaster in this district this year. Lions try to get a offsides penalty from Georgetown. They weren't biting, and so Leander will burn a timeout with 1:37. And why not? I mean, you pick up a first down if you can get them to jump. And they've been a little bit jumpy. The crowd has kind of died down a little bit. You know, maybe we need the San Diego chicken out here to get the crowd into it again or something. But it is this part of the game. I mean, you can ill afford any mistake. And honestly, both teams had some mistakes, but the one that was the backbreaker so far was the interception, the pick six, the pass by McDougal that was picked off by Mormon, and he went in untouched for, I think it was about an 18 to 20-yard interception return. And it was just, he turned around and jumped, and it hit him right in the hands. And nice soft hands. Yeah, you don't expect defensive backs to make such excellent catches like that.
Right
yeah,
there.
Looked like a receiver.
Got his head on a swivel, turned around, got the ball, scored.
So it is now 3rd down and 5. Let's see if the Leander Lions will go with a hard count once again. Pflugerville trailing Elgin in the fourth quarter, 28-14. I've been touting Pflugerville all season. I guess they're going to make me look like I don't know what I'm talking about. Here we go. 2 receivers either side of the formation in a pistol. Mitchell takes the snap, hands to Gordon. No, he keeps it to the left. He's at the 40. He's got a first down, and he sits down inbounds to keep the clock burning.
Smart man.
And that is very intelligent. And you know the coaches told him that clock did stop at 91 seconds remaining. And I have to assume that, okay, and the white hat does indicate that the clock should be moving. And the Lions can really just take a knee here, and that's the ball game. If they don't come out in victory formation, there's a problem, because they're going to end up 1-0 in district, 2-2 overall after tonight's effort. And we'll talk about it briefly here in a moment. Ben agreed to to handle the camera. So, we'll bring you that our excitement. You'll be able to see it on our face. And that is celebration here in the home crowd as the Lions, as they come off the field, get a standing ovation from the parents and the students and the band.
I mean, that Logan Mitchell, he comes as advertised. I mean,
yeah.
I'm glad they sat him out against Del Valle. Let him,
Yeah, you got to be healthy, and he's obviously
really healthy right now.
I'm not calling him a horse or anything, but those thoroughbreds, they get nicked up. They're not the same.
No,
so you want to be as healthy as you can be, and it came at a good timing for Leander as they had a bye week and going into probably what at least me, who doesn't know what he's talking about, would think is one of the tougher games we'll face in district play besides rivalry games like Cedar Park. I expect Eastview to be pretty good, but they're having their own problems tonight, even though they came back to take a lead over Glenn. Victory formation for Leander.
Best formation in football right here.
And Mitchell will take a knee. And the clock will burn. They'll have to take at least one more of those victory snaps,
Tick, tick, tick,
as there's about 14 seconds between the game and play clock. Line of scrimmage now at the 39-yard line. Boy, what a homecoming, Frank.
What a game.
and we were graced with some ghosts of the past that aren't exactly ghosts, but get to talk to old coaches, talk about old Leander, and add a new chapter to the beginning of this district season.
Pride never dies, baby.
And you see that celebration on the field by the line sideline as nobody, except for people close to the program, really gave them an opportunity to beat this Georgetown Eagle team. But the Lions, as time expires, will win this one by a score of 38-35. So let's do a quick post game, and then we'll break down all the equipment. So, Frank, are we on?
Nope.
Is 2 not working?
Not working.
Okay, well, we'll just do an audio one. If you just go back to 1, we just won't be on camera. We might have broke that camera anyway at halftime with Coach Williams.
My bad.
No, the battery probably needed to be replaced on the transmitter, and that's okay.
Hey, but what a game, though. What a game. What a homecoming game. I mean, everybody came here to see it, and, I mean,
yeah,
what a game.
That's really what you can say. I mean, it was a special night. And, I'll admit I had my doubts that the Lions would come out of this with a win. I didn't have doubts that they would play well. I didn't have doubts that they could hang with this team.
It's just that's a big running back, though.
It is, and I didn't expect to come out on top. And I'll admit that. And, the next podcast, maybe the kids will give me a noogie or something for not having the –
We're going to get one of those Dunkin' containers.
A Dunkin' booth,
yeah.
But, it just goes to show, I said it a little bit earlier, this program is turning a corner, and we're witnessing the turning of that corner. And just like Coach Williams said, when you have guys that perform in a game like this, there are little kids all across this stadium that are looking and telling themselves, I want to be a Leander Lion. I'm ready to do this. Mom, sign me up, And, there's a tradition that goes back for a while where they let the youth run through the tunnel. They call it the linebacker, and, they can buy shirts and stuff. But it's not the same if the team is not in a really successful run, and this team has opportunities. Yeah. You've got a deep quarterback room. You've got a deep running back room. You have a deep wide receiver room. You have a pretty deep offensive line. And against one of the better offenses in Central Texas, the defense went toe-to-toe with them.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that secondary is something else for the Lions. One big play by Warren, and other than that, the secondary really held them in check, and they really held Walker in check. in that run-fit defense. And so you just got to give them credit. You know, if they didn't stink so bad, I'd go pat them on the back right now.
That was good to see because, like I said, we're used to seeing these blown, like, 70, 80-yard
Yeah.
plays, and none of that happened tonight.
Right. We had the one, it was about 40-yard play.
Missed
That was
tackle,
the
that
one
it,
thing.
yeah.
And then beyond that, you know, it's just a well-executed, well-prepared game plan and squad on all three phases of the game. You just really got to give credit to the coaching staff and those kids out there and all the support staff because, you know, as we mentioned, you need boosters, you need broadcasters, you need cheerleaders, you need dance, you need trainers, but you know the core of those players and those coaches, and they really showed out tonight.
I know we don't say a lot, but I know Rodriguez did good kicking. He's been consistent, kicking out of the end zone, getting out of their hands. He had a real good game himself today.
Oh yeah, he didn't miss a single kick and had excellent punts,
Made
and
the field
he
goal.
minimized their kick return game. Just all around, we really excelled. So you got some updates for us, Ben, before we close the broadcast?
Yeah, here we got Vandergrift with the win over Vista Ridge, 38-7, and then Georgetown Eastview with a huge comeback, 46-42, the win over Glenn. Or in the fourth quarter, right?
So that's going to put Leander, Cedar Park, I think, are winning tonight as well.
Yep.
And then so Glenn and Georgetown and Rouse are all losing. So there's going to be 4 teams that are 1-0 in district and 4 teams that are or 3 teams that are 0-1.
We're on top right now.
That's right.
1-0, baby.
That's right. And district play is really like a second season. You know, that pre-district, you want to win every game you're in, right? But your pre-district games, you're working out all the stuff that you got to get on the field and be successful with in district play. So
Go ahead and chisel us one in that W column right
that's
there.
right. Like I said, I'm going to have a hard time sleeping tonight, but it is what it is. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight.
And if you're eating Whataburger
Oh, you have
tonight-
another update for us, Ben?
Yeah, final score, Lake Belton and Rouse. Rouse comes up on top with
Oh.
28-20
I was
for the
counting
final.
Rouse as the loss, and it looks like they came back and won, and that'll be a good game down the road when the Lions play them. But for Juan Alanese, for Ben Alanese, for Frank Rodriguez, and Pete Casimir, I'm Chuck Cracy. Thank you for listening to Lion Football on SHN Sports. Roll Pride.
Let's go Lions, baby.